Rena 5. Cool down to win.
Oppo Reno 5, PUBG Mobile MENA Esports official designated smartphone.
Oppo Rena 5. Hold it to win.
Oppo Reno 5, PUBG Mobile MENA Esports official designated smartphone.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a brand new day here of the African PMCO for the full split of 2021. Today, we're going to be hitting the final stretch for a lot of these teams as we hit day 5 of the action for Group B for Group A and Group D. That's going to be today. Group B and Group C is going to be tomorrow. That's fine. With that said, my name is Maxman, going to be one of your commentators for today. As always, going to be joined by the one and only DK himself. DK, how are you feeling for this last day, this last opportunity for a lot of these teams now?
Oh, I can tell you it's going to be an absolutely jam-packed day. I mean, as you've pointed out, it's the final day for the players from Group A and Group D to show us what they've got and see whether or not they'll be able to make it themselves up into those slots to move into the finals.
Yeah, of course, that's what we're going to be hoping to see these teams do, make themselves go into the top 16. We can go into the format, and we're going to be, of course, checking out how things are going to be working out and what these teams are currently dealing with. As, of course, we started off the group stage. I mean, we're still in the group stage, so we're still there. 32 teams did join here and were the best 32 teams of the region, but now we are going to be cutting the teams down by half, and we're going to be only having 6 teams remaining at the very finals here. So, opportunity and objective for these teams are playing today and tomorrow. Be at the top 16 at the end of tomorrow's broadcast. If you can make that happen, you will be in the finals and you will be part of the top 16 best teams in the African region, which is no small feat, I would say, DK. Top 16 of any region is still a huge achievement in its own regard.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be quite a bit of a fight. So, as I know, also moving into the finals, we're going to be having our former champions from Season 1 returning back into the finals. So, I think there's going to be limited slots. You know, instead of 16, there's only going to be 15 spots in the final for the teams to try and get in there. So, the pressure is definitely going to be on. But, of course, one of the ways they can get that done will be with the point distribution. And that is going to be so important here today.
I think that when we're looking at this, GK, right, there's a team that knows this rule set by heart, and we know which team it is for that 15 point per win, you know? If you can do what we would say a G3 temper, really struggling for Group A and Group D, you're going to need to pull a G3 tempo. You need to not only get out there and frag out, you're going to need also some wins or minimum a few top 3s coming your way. That is going to be the bare minimum. So hopefully we'll see if they can make it happen. Because don't forget, we're not only fighting for spots in the PMPL, the MEA Championship, we're also fighting for a significant prize pool coming in here for this PMCO. There's going to be a total of 30,000 US dollars. First place is going to take in 4,000. Second place will be 2,500. And third place will be $1,700. But also, do keep in mind, even if you do not make it into the finals at the end of these next 2 days, you will still be taking home $500, which, I'm not going to lie, having prize pool of minimum $500 for every single team, even those that do not make it in the top 16 in the finals, is very surprising to me, DK, and I'm hoping to see a lot more of that in the future.
Yeah, and it really helps to drive home that motivation for teams to still perform well if they want to get a bigger chunk of that pie. And yeah, we're going to be waiting to see, you know, which of the Group A and Group D are going to be the teams to make it into that ever essential spot.
Yeah, of course, we're going to see who's going to be able to put himself in a comfortable position at the end. But of course, as always, we're going to be having our set of games coming your way. If you watched the last few days, you know the drill by now. First game is going to be on Erangel, followed up with Sanhok, then Miramar, that I've yet to cast, so very unfortunate of me, I haven't been able to catch up on the Miramar action, and then we'll be closing it off once again on the grassy pastures of Erangel. And after this is done. this is completely finished for the teams of Group A and D. These are their last 4 games. If you're currently behind, if you're currently struggling, you need to get some of the best performances out there. So I would say, especially DK, if your team that is currently struggling and you only got 4 more games to hopefully make it in these finals, your mental state must be struggling quite a bit if you do not know how to deal with this kind of environment.
Yeah, so definitely they need to try and see if they can bring it all back again tomorrow. So yeah, it is going to be a pretty tough day, and we'll get into a bit more of a breakdown of, you know, what the teams need to look at if they want to find themselves in that top 16. I mean, for that, we are going to be moving into a quick break, I believe.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to be heading to, man, he knows everything. Look at this guy, DK, man. He's just a newcaster, started this year, and the guy's just like, he's feeling good about himself. He's taking my job away. I'm going to be jobless very soon, so better be looking out. But with that said, indeed, we're going to be heading on over to a break. So with that said, we'll be back in just a few short minutes' time, and we'll be ready to look into the overall rankings. Also, you definitely want to check that one out before we head in our first game of the day.
Oppo Reno 5. Cool down to win.
Oppo Reno 5, PUBG Mobile MENA Esports official designated smartphone.
Thanks so much for waiting. Once again, we are ready to jump into our first game here in just a few sheer minutes' time. But before that, DK, I think it's very important for us to look currently what we are dealing with. What is the current situation for all of these teams? So we're going to be popping the rankings very soon. Oh, there we go. We're going to have them ready right now. Our producer's absolutely on point, and we're going to be checking the overall rankings to see what we're currently dealing with in the grand scheme of this event. As some teams have been doing just fantastic as of recently. We've got to say here, DK, KHK Esport overtaking G3 that got 3 wins in a day was so surprising. But when you look at these top 4, top 5 teams, they've just been so consistent and really deserve a spot in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, especially KHK, they've been really stepping it up. And they're participating once again today. So they've been showing an average of about 13.5 points per match. So that equates to about a second place finish with 0 kills. And obviously, as we can see, they've been bringing in quite a few kills throughout the games so far. And I mean, another team to be looking at, of course, is going to be G3, but we don't see them today. They are going to be stepping in tomorrow to give a little bit of a swing there to see what they can bring. But so far, a really healthy first page that we've got.
Yeah, very healthy. And though a team on this page is going to be playing today, and I'm intrigued to see what they can do, is going to be Influence Rage Africa, currently standing in 7th place with 75 points. Really good showcase. About to hit that 10-point average per game, which is really strong. And yet without a chicken dinner, DK, which I find very surprising. So this is a team that doesn't rely around those chicken dinners. They're consistent when it comes to positioning point and kill points too, with 35 kills. Positioning points getting themselves 40, so they're looking really golden. This could be a team, if they can get to the late game, if they can find closure to a game or two, that could just set them apart very heavily and be potentially in that top 3 and even be that one team that goes to the EMEA Championship at the end. Though, now we're done with our first page, we're going to look at the teams that are starting to be in a little bit more of a slippery slope position here, DK, as you're going to be seeing teams that made it very last second. One of those actually being Fainted AF, got themselves 2 wins yesterday, and they fell in Apex that came, I would say, out of nowhere on that Miramar game and just barely made it in the top 16. Now they're a little bit safer, but they're still not safe.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking about being safe, I mean, if we look at the point difference between 10th place and 16th place, there's only 11 points difference. So I'm still expecting these teams sitting in on the second page to be moving up quite a bit as we progress through the games today. And we have quite a few teams that are participating sitting in exactly that spot. But now as we move in to the second or the third page rather, this is where things get a little bit more, I won't say dire, but it's not the most comfortable spot to be in, you know. Like the teams we see sitting on this page, they definitely have to bring in those extra additional players. One of the teams, or 2 of them rather, being the players there from Honored Souls. So we've got Immortals, and the third one, of course, being the players there from Era Crew, who we see participating today. So definitely going to be watching to see whether or not they'll be able to advance onto that second page. And I mean, this is then the last page.
Yeah, this is the page where there's a very big sense of urgency. Like, we need to do so good today that everyone is impressed. Otherwise, you're out. You're done. You're in the bottom 16. You're not making it to the finals, and they'll be pretty much done and dusted. And we talked actually before the show, right? There was a few teams where you're like, for Group A, Group D, they're struggling. They need to get great performances today.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at that 28th, 29th, and 30th spot, that is definitely the 3 teams that I think that need to step it up as they're sitting at the bottom of the groups participating today. You know, if they continue on the trend that we've been seeing over the past few days, it is going to be pretty tough to secure a decent position up in the top 16. So they're definitely going to have to step up their game, bring in, like you said, one of those G3 performances to see if it'll be enough to elevate them into top 16.
That's what we're going to be hoping to see, and we'll see if these players and teams are indeed born to win. Welcome to the exciting match brought to you by Oppo. Get your gamer mode on with a much-loved Renault 5 Series. And also, do not forget that all of this is brought to you by Nimo TV, the official media partner of PUBG Mobile Pro League in 2021. As we're going to have a very friendly playing path here, DK, this time around. Very central, from the west side all over to the east. And these teams literally just cannot complain about anything. And with the amount of games I've already played, I mean, this is a point especially you've been bringing home quite a few times, that VOD review is very important. Now we had 4 days of play done. We have 2 entire streams dedicated to some of these teams where you look how they rotate, how they drop, how they play. Now is the best time to prepare in the early game. Make sure you do not go down early because of a hot drop and set up a really strong early rotation. This is why I'm hoping to see more now than ever in these last 2 days of group stage.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be absolutely essential for teams to have done those VOD reviews and really bring it into the gameplay today. I mean, we actually have quite a few teams here that are not really sitting too comfortable on that leaderboard. It's about 11 teams out of the 16 participating that still have that opportunity to try and advance their current position on the leaderboard. So I'm definitely curious to see what they're going to bring into this first initial match. And I'm definitely not expecting it to be too passive, even looking at where that zone has gone now.
Quite a bit of water in play, actually, meaning that really, if you're looking at this, you know that this is an unofficial phase 2 circle, so there's not going to be that much terrain. I'm still not expecting to see any big fights currently happen, but I'm expecting and actually hoping that we're going to have the circle algorithm take away a big portion of that water, make it a little bit easier on the teams and players, and hopefully get some good PUBG Mobile action. But really, by seeing how these teams are dropping, we've got currently 2 teams in the northern side of George Pole. 2 other teams are relatively close to each other over to the more western side. I think that's Ultima and MZR Esports. Other than that, nothing too fancy, nothing too out of the ordinary. So I want to take a little bit of time to talk with you, DK, about this entire event so far, because I think we came into this event with expectation for some teams and some teams being the underdog. Which team, in your eyes, has been the biggest underdog, like just came out of nowhere and like people were, wow, this team just did so good?
Underdog or dark horse, because I know there's
same thing. Yes. We'll just go with the same definition. To be honest, I keep saying dark horse and underdog, and I literally couldn't tell you the difference. So you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're referring to the dark horse team. So yeah, because underdog refers to a team that we don't think is really going to be making it. So teams that have been showing quite a bit of potential, looking to improve quite a bit. Surprising performances definitely coming in from the likes of C Esports. Also fainted.
Okay.
They've also been stepping it up quite a bit, and I'm also quite impressed with Rilla Insider, the team currently sitting up in 8th place.
Okay, I'm actually surprised again for those teams, but I'm really happy that you're bringing up some teams that are not in the top 5, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say the team that impressed me the most, and just maybe an underdog, is Team Lag. I didn't know this team before coming into this event. I talked about them many times. Maybe I feel a little bit biased from time to time, which you would be right in thy assessment. But I just think that they have just some really strong presence on the map in general, and we'll see what they can do. I mean, even though they're not playing today, that is fine. We'll see them tomorrow. But I think they potentially impressed a lot of people, myself included. But not only that, we also got other teams I'm really happy to see do good. And Rilla Insider especially. That was a team that I believe you brought up yesterday, Rilla Insider, as this team that could climb up if they have a good day, which they did. They definitely did. And now they're currently standing in 8th place. So they are a team that's looking very comfortable when it comes to making it into the finals. Maybe not being in that top 1 position. But if they keep improving on this kind of scale we see them do as of recently, I think Relay Insider could be a very big surprise hitting the finals.
Yeah, definitely good. And I mean, that is what is so healthy about this competition, is so many teams really starting to step up, bring in those performances. You can see some of those gears just really locking into place. And that is essentially what we want to see. Teams realizing, you know, like, oh, wow, this is what we got to do. This is how we got to approach that. And we're seeing some really good utilization of the gameplay, of those reviews, you know, just of the strategies in general. So I'm really excited to see what the teams are going to bring in today's matches as well as tomorrow, as it is going to be those final days, those final plays for them to try and secure their position in the top 16.
That's going to be the main goal for these teams. Okay, I thought Expert spotted a player, but no, that's a teammate. Okay, don't do that, please. We're not going to do a Manfilas. Okay, I'm sorry, Manfilas. Man, I'm going after this guy so much. I love you, Manfilas. You're doing great. Keep it up, mate. But yeah, other than that, looking at the circle, not really too much really coming out of the ordinary. You have teams that are slowly kicking into gear, their rotations. Things are going pretty chill. But yeah, we're having a good old time. James is not here, so you have to deal with me, DK, unfortunately for you. I know you want to talk smack about me, but you have to wait a little bit for game 3.
Yeah, I mean, this Max guy. Oh, man.
What do you mean, this Max? Okay, look at this dude. MZR going to be careful, picking up back into the UAV. Getting the hell out of this position. I don't want to take that fight for Ultima. I do have the impression that Ultima has been improving on the sense that they do not linger for no reason. If there's a team close to them, they're going to start moving quicker. We saw that with James Banks, where they had a little bit of an altercation towards, I believe it was in hospital, and they stuck with there for way too long, and it hurt their chances heavily of getting to the late game. Now it seemed like they understood, okay, that was not a good thing to do. They're improving on it. They're working on it. I've got to say, I'm happy to see that kind of very clear distinction between the past and the present, and potentially what could be the future for teams such as Ultima.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely see a bit of a step up come in there from the side of the players from Team Ultima. You know, the last time we saw them was on day 3. Their first match they had was a pretty tough one for them. 21st Century took them out at first. So, yeah, a really tough fight that we saw. And that was over in towards that whole quarry region, if you remember the teams just fighting in that region. Some pretty hairy stuff happening. But unfortunately, you know, that is just kind of the way that these battle royales go. You know, anything can still happen, and that's essentially what we're hoping for. Even the players here from Era Crew, I mean, they're currently just 6 points away from making it up in towards top 16. So that is just one decent game. Could be enough for them to secure that position. So I'm definitely looking to see who's going to be stepping it up, who's going to be bringing it in. And we're seeing those rotations now starting to head all the way over on towards the eastern side. I mean, I think where we started off, 21st Century actually had themselves in a fairly decent position in a more northern angle in that zone, in that phase. But now, as it is starting to get a little bit more congested, I'm curious to see, though, whether or not they'll be able to hold up that defensive line.
I think so. There's so many compounds to play around. I'm not really expecting any team to go down until minimum phase 3. If the teams do go down, I think it's just very unexpected and something out of the ordinary just happens. But I realized while you were speaking there, DK, and the other days when we were casting, you say a very hairy situation quite a bit. Like, do you have something against, like, what does it even mean when a situation is hairy? What do you entail by that?
It's tough. It's you know, it could potentially not go the way that you had planned it to be. You know, it could present a few problems.
So so I have a beard. Well, if you want to call it a beard, I guess it's just patchy hair. Am I problematic? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Yeah?
No, if you had a beard that was probably down to your knees, that could sometimes be a bit problematic.
Gandalf,
depending
be like,
on how
bruh.
you sit and all that, you know.
Rip
But I
Gandalf,
mean,
man.
Yeah, like a Gandalf beard. I mean, that could be possibly problematic at some point. But I mean, currently now with a little bit of stubble, as you would call it, or whatever the situation is, I mean, yeah, it's good for scratching your hand, I guess.
Scratching that beard. Hell yeah. You should grow a beard. I think it would fit you pretty good. Maybe not like Imperium length of beard, but man, Dan, how do we keep talking about Imperium when he's not even here? Where's this guy done?
Effect. He's just got.
I know,
effect.
right? I just want to talk smack about this guy every 2 seconds. Yeah.
You got to be careful because J-Bot, you know, he might turn that gun the other way around and, you know.
Shoot the screen.
Yeah.
Shoot the. I just had a like very visual image of a player just looking straight into the camera and just like, no more feed. We're done. And I don't know why that sounds so funny to me. We'll have to see. Phase 2 circle pops up. I mean, I said I was hoping there is not going to be taken into account a lot of the water. Most of it is going to be taken out. So that's great. Liquid Diamond are already initiating their cross over the Eastern Bridge away from Sanhok Island. So I'm really happy about that one. So yeah, we're literally going to have very minimal movement and changes in the circle. So I think things are still going to remain pretty stale for the time being. A lot of strong positions already been taken away in the dead center. We're looking at Era Crew looking good. KHK especially is looking very, very strong. This is a position near the center next to the road where they play quite a bit. So yeah, are there any positions you're seeing in mind here that you have in mind here that are not used and you would like to see teams go there?
I mean, Potato Hill could potentially be a good spot, depending, of course, on where the zone is going to be going. But I mean, so far it seems like a lot of these decent positions have been already taken up. Maybe potentially just you know, shelter on the surface, not necessarily down in the underground. And also, yeah, the players here from Mezexis, they just bring in that spray. The Magicians trying to inch their way through. Oh, the plantation here. And it is quite a favorable spot, though, for Mezexis to be in there.
It is. Works pretty nice. ATL Magicians. The Gandalfs of the lobby going to try and just cruise their way around, regroup, recenter their forces. Because as you know, the Magician, never late. He arrives exactly when he's expected to. And that bullet arrives just on time. Mercury gets a double whammy instantly. And ATL Magicians now suffering the wrath of the gods. As Mezexis thinking, do we go out for the confirm? They're getting into the cars. They want those kills right now. Because when you look at Mezexis, they're currently 15th. They are not safe. So they need to go for plan in mind, and they want those juicy points coming their way.
Yeah, I mean, there is a little bit of a point difference, you know, for them to kind of work with. But they are tied in that with Ophidian Apex. But of course, any points they can find, I'm pretty sure they won't say no to that. And That is
They're
potentially
hunting.
what we're seeing here. Yeah, we see that aggression. They want to get not only into top 16, but potentially looking to push themselves up into that first page.
Why are they... Mazexis, are you lost? Come on, like, you got 2 knocks, you know exactly where they are, unless the information game is just really not that good. Go confirm those kills right now. There you go. Go confirm that kill onto Spectre. That's very important. You can't waste an opportunity to get 3 points like that. Because now they got the time to res, and ATL Magicians are basically back as a 3-man crew. That should be the kill confirmed. Bap, there you go. Spectre sent straight back to the lobby, but now they're back as a 3-man team. That double knock is basically ruined. One player will get picked away. Legacy on a slid off HP will have to heal off. Mazexis now sending himself 1 by 1. You just threw such an easy fight, and ATL Magicians are just wreaking absolute havoc on the battlegrounds. Mazexis, that smoke is making it really hard to actually pick them down. That car would be good if they could explode it, but I'm pretty sure the explosion damage will not be enough to knock down ATL Magicians. Man, I don't know what you think, DK, but they had a golden opportunity to confirm 3 kills, and they just let it slip away.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely them dropping the ball there, and very unfortunate to see, but now there's so much pressure on for Pyro and Matrix to try and move in, potentially find those angles down below over towards the Magicians, but the Magicians now in turn just really utilizing that ridge line they've got. They're using a little bit of cover, the vehicles they have at their disposal, and we could even see the Magicians completely turning this around in their favor as Ash now finds yet another shot on through. Matrix does find a nice response, but it's still a heavy back and forth between them.
Not going to be too easy. They do get Hoxton back up. Pyro's going to get that res through. And the smoke is actually making it a little bit easier for Mazexis to wiggle out of that one. Chapo, that nade is not going to connect in 1,000 years. You need to get way closer. Now that you do not have the heal advantage, now that you also know that there's a potential res that came on through and you are picking a 3v2, I would recommend not taking it. Maybe not pick up the cars, but I would say if you can just go further downhill, try and leave that fight entirely, that would be the best scenario because now you are heavily at disadvantage. Or Zexus just leave. And that also really helps out OTL Magicians, which seems like that is indeed going to be the case.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is a really good call coming in from Azexus, you know, not trying to play this one or extend it too much, as we did see that zone shifting up once again. But now also, we've got the players here from Honored Souls getting pressurized by MZR as they come moving into the compound. A good surrounding play coming in here from MZR, really applying a bit of pressure to the side of Honored Souls. You can see those utilities getting sent on through. Zodiac getting knocked right on down. Now Risk and the rest of Clue need to try and bring it in as Blood sneaks in a beautiful off-angle approach, picking up a confirm.
I mean, Blood gets picked up instantly himself, so not going to be able to bring too much to the table. That's a 3-man push coming out. MZR wants to confirm those kills. Hell is going to be onto the side. Hellboy actually doing relatively well. Gets himself the first knock, switching over to the AKM. Pre-fire, but unfortunately nothing comes of it. And Clutch trying to get his fallen teammate back on his 2 feet. I think is going to be just too late as he will not have enough time to get the first aid. Looking every single nick and cranny of this building, making sure they clear everything. They want those 4 kills right now. The Risk actually being given a lot of breathing space to get that first aid potentially. As now all they have to do is defend this area. Hold on to the staircase, but you could easily get naded through those windows. You got to be very wary of that.
Yeah, I mean, but this has been an absolutely beautiful play so far coming in from the side of MZR. They are lacking in points, and man, they are stepping it up, looking to bring in those points. But now, C Esports coming in with a beautiful third-party play on this. So quite a bit of pressure now on the shoulders here for MZR and the players from Honored Souls. And Clutch now going to be looking to potentially try and clutch this one out. It is going to be a pretty tough call, and down he goes. MZR looking so golden with that play.
That's the main issue. The fact is, holding onto this building is really hard because you only have 2 rooms. If you had different rooms that you could very easily hide into, that would be great. But once you're basically cornered in this type of terrain, in this type of building, in especially the first floor of that building, you're toast because there's no escape unless you jump out and you try and take the more aggressive way out, and they were not able to make that happen. So that's it for them as they get eliminated in 15th place. Only 14 teams now remain. Is going to be switching over to C Esport as they are still currently locked inside of the farm area. Gonna have to think about moving because you're on the southern side of the edge of the circle. You know, there's not a very big chance of them being in a very comfortable spot. Where's it going to be shifting? And it's centralized. The compound of MZI is still going to be good. And INS especially are looking so comfortable. But they need to regroup right now and go away from that 2-2 and head into a big 4-man spread.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure is definitely now on as we can see the teams looking to find a good position in. I agree. The players there from Rolla Insider, they need to start condensing that position with the Liquid Diamonds moving in from that southwestern side. will be quite a bit of pressure. But now looking at the position we've got here, Influence Rage and the players there from KHK actually being in pretty close proximity, just holding on to the crossroads here. So I'm curious to see whether or not KHK is going to try and just do enough to stay in their position, or will we see them get pretty aggressive and look to dominate this match even more so?
Yeah, this is a complicated decision to take for KHK. You got to take so many things into account. You know, teams will be pushing in your global vicinity. Immortals are doing that actually right now, so you need to make sure you can potentially defend against that team, or you start moving into the circle early with an opportunity of you showing your back against foes, and then that's going to ruin your chances very heavily. So KHK need to make a decision, but they need to commit to that decision as a team. Doesn't matter if it's a bad decision. Just do as a team. Don't be spread. Don't have indecision. That is what's going to hurt you the most. Though in terms of circle, we talked about good decisions being good. Insider already more over to the western side. They're going to be trying to keep some teams at arm's length, but it's not going to be too easy because a lot of teams are looking for this position. Liquid Diamonds are doing just that. Ultima also pushing in a very similar type of terrain. So Real Insider need to be very cautious and allow very minimal amount of players to make it through.
Yeah, I mean, Ultima, they're also going to be looking to try and inch their way on through. So I'm expecting a little bit of a more aggressive play coming from them. But with the pressure being in place with the Liquid Diamonds, just holding that angle, I mean, you can already see the players there from the Relay Insider team starting to find a few sprays. We do see Chapo getting knocked right on down. Ash right there alongside him. Up he comes, puts him right on down. Beautiful play from Relay Insider. But now they need to try and continue to roll with those punches. And it is going to be quite a bit of pressure here.
Yeah, ATL Magicians rolled up in the wrong neighborhood and instantly got sent to the police station. Liquid himself also a pretty strong ridge line, more on the southern side. Got to be careful if a team controls and position himself down south. You could potentially be threatened and you could be pushed away. But team that could have been actually pretty impressive on that spot could have been Immortals, as they just decide to go into the distance towards the farm terrain, going very close to see Esport as of right now. We'll have to see if that's going to pop into the kill feed. But otherwise, it's still a lot of breathing space for some of these teams. We already lost 3 teams, so that means that we got a lot of free real estate available for some of these squads. Zeke, really good opportunity onto Venom. Unfortunately, will only hit a few bullets along the way. We're going to start getting to the point here, DK, where we're going to have some big pushes, some big breaches happening, because you don't have too many spots that are actually viable to play, especially in the long term.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the teams we still see in the running to try and make that strong comeback is the players from 21st Century. We do have them on the complete eastern side of the zone. So for the moment, they are in the clear. They can afford to just hold on a little bit while the rest of the lobby is fighting it out over on towards this western side. The players here from the Relay Insider, they're trying to secure that position and then make their position on that first page just solidified. But Liquid Diamonds, they're also going to be trying to give them a run for their money as they're pushing in for those points. KHK just casually strolling up in towards the zone, and with that zone being shifting up once again now, this is actually looking pretty golden for the side of Fainted.
This is looking great. Don't forget, in case you did not watch yesterday's broadcast, I recommend you go and check it back because it was a really strong day for Fainted that started off yesterday actually in, what was it, 22nd place with 16 points, I think it was? And boom, 2 games, 2 wins later, 4 games total later, they are standing so comfortable at the very top of the standings, currently in 12th place, very comfy. Another good day, and they're pretty much assured to go straight in the top 16 in the finals that will be happening just about next week. So keep it up, boys. You're doing fantastic. You just got to keep that ball rolling. As Liquid Diamonds, unfortunately, they start rolling downhill. They get himself 2 players knocked away. Real Insider looking to actually push that one, which I find very surprising, though, that now you got 2 players not in the circle. I don't know what you think, but I am not a fan of this one unless they are very snappy and close it off quickly.
Yeah, they definitely have to wrap up this fight. I'm not opposed to them trying to go for those confirms, getting a little bit aggressive look into,
He's going back.
Confirms.
Yeah.
Yes, they just need to get back in zone on time because this is 5th phase zone. It is going to be absolutely brutal. But a good play coming in here from Zeke, trying to clean that one up. The sprays come through. Beautiful placement, absolutely on point. But now the pressure is on. The players there from CE Esports looking to push up from the south. They need to wrap this up quickly.
He got a double nade knock in the open. not in a building, not in a shack, not whatsoever. They had literally so much room to play with, and yet they were close enough to each other where Zeke just got a double whammy with one singular nade. That is insane. But now we said it. You want to be snappy. You want to be quick on your feet. You want to start moving to the circle. That's what we're seeing right now from Rilla Insider. That is what I want to see. They're oppressive, but not overzealous. They are respectful of the enemy teams pushing their way, so they're going to go back into the circle. This is what I was scared of, but they played around it just as they needed to. But KHK, unfortunately, went for a little bit of a later rotation. They're going to have one player knocked away, but Rilla Insider's got to be careful as KHK are heavily and quickly closing that gap.
Man, this is absolutely precious situation, but Rilla Insider looking so good, just holding on to that western side. KHK still in the game, still going to be trying to apply that pressure. As you can see them now trying to clean up the players there from INF. Man, it is going to be a risky play. Trip now coming in with a beautiful spray onto Pennywise, just on point. Now, Lewis remains just up ahead. KHK coming in with that 2-2 split. Both sides having a knock player, but will Rilla now be able to send in those nades and find that closure?
Man, that spray from Trip was busting. I'm telling you that much. That was a good spray. KHK, now they're struggling quite a bit. We're able to get the rest back, though. So they're back up as a 4-man. I was surprised. I thought they were down to a 3 and never able to come back from that. But Roller's got to be careful. Huge nade coming out, actually. Great connection from KHK. Going to try and go for that confirm. And now... And unfortunately, but Rilla Insider are just not defending that ridgeline as they should. They're starting to give too much breathing space to KHK as they're just eking closer and closer. Now they're nade range. In a few seconds' time, they're going to be in the range where they can easily take you down with a spray on the Nayar. So Rilla Insider need to play together. Like, I am seeing big miscommunication happening and big mis-synergy, and they just cannot take down KHK this way.
Yeah, I mean, that ridge line was actually looking in their favor. They could just push across, get those shots in towards KHK. Meanwhile, KHK just utilizing the opportunity, just absolutely obliterating the competition. But they still need to focus on getting up in towards that zone. We'll have that phase moving in momentarily. Meanwhile, it is a bit of an exchange coming in between INF and KHK. Insider slowly inching their way on up, but KHK, Jairbot, just so relentless, trying to still pick up any points he can.
I remember Jairbot last season was James. We were just screaming his name every single time. He was just so nerdy from game to game. And he's making it happen once again with his team of KHK. We'll see if they can try and find closure this time around. They're still not in the circle. They still need to fight for position. So we'll see if they can breach Rose Mario just like in Attack of Titans. Hopefully they'll get the Titans on their side as INF. Taking it pretty slow. They just want to make sure that KHK can't get any closer. But this smoke road, I don't know what you think, but this is making it easier for KHK to close in, actually. Because they're just losing so much information. This smoke road set up by INF is just not working in their favor whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, they opened the door completely there for KHK to casually just stroll on through. And now, oh man, KHK, they're definitely going to be looking to inch their way, but they're so focused on that position of INF. And I'm a little bit worried about that, though, because both INF and KHK still need to get back up into zone. And meanwhile, Rilla Insider, they've positioned just on the edge of that western side.
Yeah, Rilla Insider want nothing to do with KHK. These are the enemies that they just don't want to encounter in this game, at least at this stage. INF still with the smokes, not going to be able to do too much. That's once again an INF smoke, I'm pretty sure. Influence Rage, I'm not sure what their game plan is, but it is definitely putting them in the dark more than anything else. Now going to get pushed upon KHK. Jairbot, be careful, goes a little bit too far, too lonely, and will get picked up instantly as KHK are looking for more, but unfortunately they decided to push too late. The blue zone is going to be hurting their chances so heavily as Influence Rage Africa are now going to try and wreak havoc into the side of KHK. One more knock comes their way as they're only down to 1 for KHK, and we might just be seeing the undoing of the Kings right now as they might just fall out before hitting top 5.
Man, INF there was pushing so hard to get up into that top position, and so far putting up quite a bit of a fight as we can see KHK now getting sent back into the lobby. But the fighting is not going to be stopping anytime soon. The players here from Fainted are still going to be bringing it in as the INF Influence Rage Africa get eliminated. 4 teams remain. Rilla Insider still in the mix here. Now getting sprayed down by the side there of MZR. It is going to be an absolutely brutal fight to try and secure this winner chicken dinner. But even Mazex's still in the mix.
This is great for Fated. Like, they had a circle, of course, coming their way, but that means they got all the resources in the world that they need to try and topple the top of this game. Zexus will have to heal up. They hear the cars in the distance. MZR looking to leave this building, leave this shack. They're looking for a little bit more ownership into the circle, but unfortunately, I would say it's a little too late here. as there's just not an easy entry point. You need to go and breach upon a team. Otherwise, you're not going to have any breathing space in the circle. You need to take down a squad to create that breathing room.
Oh, man. And there's not much left to be breathing in. So we see so many smokes deployed all across this entire zone. MZR actually coming in with a really strong player, really trying to make that run. Currently sitting in 26th place, a really decent amount of kills on board, already sitting with 5. I mean, Mizex is also 8 kills on board, really strong points to have. And I'm not surprised to see teams really dialing up the gameplay. But of course, we are moving into that 8th phase as the 7th phase blue zone is closing on through. The players here from Fainted trying to hold on. They still have decent numbers. The only squad still sitting on 4.
Yeah, 4v3, v3, v2. So currently Fainted do have the man advantage coming their way. Mizexis are going to be a little bit on the lower side. I could hear them. All those nades are looking good. They're looking really good. That's some big damage. 3 players already down to 50% HP was 2 singular nades. Another wave of those, and you're pretty much in dire, dire trouble. But MZR, they stopped nading it, and I don't think they know if they hit. So they're not going to go for the second wave right now. Or maybe they're just completely out of utility. That could also be the case. Regardless, we're about to go into phase 8, and that is going to be the tipping point. That is where things are going to go downhill real quickly. It's Fainted. Really close to each another. It would be good if they could spread a little bit more, but unfortunately, you're just pinned. If you go any further, you're going to get spotted out, so you need to stay close, and one nade would do, once again, a huge, huge amount of hurt to the team.
Yeah, I mean, one just in that little gap between them, that could be...
I'm really liking Real Insider, actually. Sorry to cut you there, but their spread is strong. That is a game-winning position that we're seeing from Real Insider. If they push correctly and take fight by fight and not have big miscommunication, Real Insider looking good with that split. I'm loving it.
Yeah, they could definitely be really close to claiming that winner chicken dinner. But Pyro holding on towards that far southwestern side is just going to try and sneak his way in. Meanwhile, the players here from Fainted just trying to stick to their positions, not looking to budge just yet. And this is where it gets absolutely essential. The first player spotted could be the first one to fall. And it is now just pretty much a hide-and-go-seek situation we've got.
Could get really hard to play around. Still, a lot of smokes are going to be left open. I think we're going to have the first contact point between Real Insider and also Fainted AF. 1 pixel. That is all you need. 1 pixel out of place. Take the shot, and then all of this situation unravels like a gift on Christmas Day. Matrix gets spotted away. That's going to be it for Mizexis to get eliminated in 4th place. 7 kills over to Real Insider. There you go. That's a 1 pixel. Great initiation from Ro. Trying to go for the kill. Confirmed, he gets up. And that's the mistake that will cost his life. Fainted AF fights right back. And now they're going for the double. They don't know. They know a team is in that direction, but they don't know exactly where the players currently stand. Pop that car, get rid of the buggy, make sure it's going to be a solid line of defense. As MZR trying to claim more and more free real estate in this position, going a little bit further, going a little bit wider, going for the big spread. Zero gets picked away for Fainted. Down now to 2 players. They're just all cornered. 1 clean swoop, and that's it for the team. They're able to find a headshot onto Leonidas. Clutch are doing some heavy lifting for MZR. They're so low, they need to heal up. If they can heal up in time, that'd be great. But right now, what we're seeing is going to be Fainted versus Real Insider trying to survive and take away the 2nd place. Great spray from Trip. Connects himself an extra kill. That's kill 9. Can he get himself the double digit at the end? See, as another spray comes out. The players will be claiming the life of Zero. And now it's going to be time to go and full send it. Trip and Zeke remaining still alive. That's a double digit kill count for the team. His power is just surrounded and yet able to keep everyone at arm's length. Be spotted away for a second by Zeke.
Man, MZR still looking so good. Still have 3 players up. Of course, now they try to get their numbers back into fighting form, but the spray comes through. Wow, Power almost gets it into Zeke. Zeke now trying to quickly respond, trying to get those sprays in, but the players here from MZR, they just holding on, looking to push in, getting their numbers back into fighting form.
They know that there's no grenades, otherwise they would have been used. They know grenades are not going to be an issue. You saw him right there. 1 spray. Oh, no, he's over with a mini 14. You're with a mini 14. He loses the fight over to the UMP. He's out of the game. That's it for Fainted. And now they're full sending the 3v1. And that is going to be the game. Going over to none other than MZR Esport this time, DK. What a finish. It calmed down very heavily, but when you needed to, it all unraveled in great fashion. And MZR were the team to take the win.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw there, their name is Master Zigzag Rangers, and man, they zigzag their way to victory, just rushing in, bringing in an absolutely phenomenal game. And if they continue on with this trend, we could definitely see them secure a position in that top 16.
It's great to see because MZR, they went 26, right? So they needed a strong performance, and it's good to see that their mental strength was not hindered by their first and second day going into this group stage. So fantastic to see. But man, that final spray at the end there from the playoff fainted with a mini 14. I was like, that is not going to work. The bloom is a little bit too big, my dude. It doesn't quite work out. Nice attempt though. I respect the hassle. You're also going to be respecting our match points here. We're going to be looking at that, see exactly what and how many points these teams have been able to take home. And the team that actually got the most points is not MZR Africa, MZR Esport Africa, sorry. It's going to be Really Insider as they got himself a double-digit kill count. The only team with a double-digit kill count, a total of 23 points coming their way. It's great to see. And we talked about them at the start, right? This team could be the dark horse of our top 16 heading into the finals, and they are making a statement on this game.
Yeah, definitely a team that I'm going to be keeping my eye on. As you asked yesterday, which team do I think is going to be sitting at the top after today? Rilla's Insider really show great potential to be able to achieve that right here on this final day for Group A and Group D. So, yeah, let's see what happens. Moving on to that second page, it is looking a little bit tough there. The players from Liquid Diamonds only bringing in those 4 points, 3 kill points at least, but a really tough start there for 21st Century, the players from Experts, as well as Zero Tolerance Skills. As we know, these are the 3 teams that are in dire need, and they need to bring that performance coming into the remaining 3 games of the day.
I don't know what your threshold, what your limit is going to be in terms of bad games they can afford to have today. I'm going to say 2 bad games and then you're out. If they have another bad result throughout these last 3 games, I'm going to count them out of the finals. I'm sorry, it's very brutal, it's very black and white, and what I'm going for, I want to be very straightforward. You cannot afford another bad game. If you do, your chances of you making it in the finals are as slim as can be, so you need to try and get themselves some good results. I mean, to be honest, we talked about it, right? You are not surprised going into these games. You know what to expect. We have got VODs of all of these teams' players and how they rotate, how they drop, how they play. You should not feel lost. You should not be able to die in the first few seconds of this game. So there's a very clear path of improvement. Next game is going to be on Sanhok. It's even harder to really prepare for that map. So we'll have to see what these teams can try and really work around. But talking about that one, we're going to be allowing these teams to get a little bit more breathing space. We're going to be taking a short break, and after that we'll be back for our second game of the day, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be Sanhok, so don't go anywhere.
Oppo Rena 5. Cool down to win.
Oppo Reno 5, PUBG Mobile MENA Esports official designated smartphone.
Oppo Rena 5. Hold it to win.
Oppo Reno 5, PUBG Mobile MENA Esports official designated smartphone.
Great first game of the day already being taken over. Real Insider doing some absolutely fantastic work, but so did also do MZR Esport as they secure himself their first win of the day. Might have a few more. We'll have to see if they can pull off a fainted or also a G3 temper heading forward, as now we're going to be heading into our second game of the day. It's going to be a Sanhok game, and the teams at the bottom that we mentioned just before the break, DK, we need to start seeing results right now. Otherwise, it might just be too late to make it up in the top 16.
Yeah, I mean, this match is going to be the turning point game. If they cannot bring it in this final one, as you've said, you know, we don't really see the likelihood of them being able to make enough of a difference to try and secure that position in the top 16. So this is going to be the do or die match. And which better match to try that on other than Sanhok moving into a match which allows for some pretty crazy plays, but also you get so much more punishment if you make any little mistakes.
Yeah, you said which better map to do that. I'm like, I think any other map would be better than Sanhok to do that on. But we got to play a Sanhok every once in a while until teams are gonna have to deal with it. And if you can make the most out of it, you might like Sanhok is the map really, DK. When you look at it, that has opportunities in plain sight, and you might not always see it because if there are teams that can get himself a 20 kill game, a lot of the time, it might just be a Sanhok game because it's so all over the place. If you position properly and you go for third party after third party and you capitalize on opportunities, you might just be able to actually run ahead of the curve very quickly because of that. So, once again, the teams are looking at here that need to rise up even more. We're looking at 21st Century, Zero Tolerance, Experts, and I would even say the likes of Ultima need to do good and ATL Magicians because after these next 3 games, they're going to be locked in place. They'll have no other way of actually moving around their overall rankings and points other than just watching the teams of Group B and C play tomorrow. And that has to be the most horrible feeling, DK, when you know you're just barely above top 16. I'm talking like you're maybe from 10th to 16th. And you're done playing your 4 games. Now you've got another team of players that are going to be trying to get as many points as possible in those last 4 games. And they're getting closer every single time to your point until the last game where it could be a little bit tricky. So I would say you want to avoid that stress. Get good right now. You want to get as high as you can as quickly as possible.
Yeah, because I mean, even the requirements to make it up into top 16 has changed just after this first match.
Yeah.
Coming into today was 55 points. Now it's sitting on 61, so only a 6-point increase. But that means that the teams now have to work even harder to try and make up for that difference. So the closer we get to the end of the day, the higher the requirements becomes to get into that top 16. So definitely this has got to be the match. Instead, in fact, from this one moving forward, they have to go all out if they are looking to secure a decent position because we don't know if it's going to be enough to stay there. As you've pointed out, tomorrow we still have another group of teams coming in, still having their final day. So there's quite a lot on the table here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's possible. I'm going to ask production if we can look at the overall rankings because I think it would be pretty cool to look into it once again before we do get into the game. Because right after that last game and a strong performance we had from a team like Real Insider, I hear we do not have it. So we're going to do the mental image for you guys at home. So just be ready for the information coming your way. Real Insider currently they jumped up into 4th place and they got himself only 1 win and they got himself a total of 97 points, same as Gamers Unite Nation. So Real Insider really could technically be first place at the end of the day because KHK will orbit it was a little bit hard. I don't know how you would really describe it, but their play seemed very unorganized and a little bit all over the place. And we need to see some better showcase of them. And if KHK can't shift things into gear today, Real Insider could be remaining first and be the one to set the bar for a lot of these teams. So yeah, Real Insider. And I find it so interesting. You brought up this team just a few days ago. I was like, this is the dark horse. They could surprise you. And they're actually making it work out in the final stretch of the group stage. So Real Insider, do you think they can make it first of the finals? Do you think they have what it takes, or they need maybe a little bit more?
I think they've got the potential definitely to get the job done. I mean, they are looking to catch up to the players there from KHK, and essentially out of these two groups, that's the only team sitting ahead of them. And I mean,
yeah,
KHK, they're not leading by that much. It's only a 19-point difference. So
that's
that
one
is
good game.
one decent game. Yeah, one decent game.
Exactly. It is just so close. You're not comfortable just yet, KHK. You're comfortable for the top 16, but we all know you want that extra bragging, right? You want to be able to go to school and say like, I was first in the group stage of PMCO. I wish I could do that. Unfortunately, I'm just a pleb. That's why I'm here casting instead of playing the game. But that is what they're going to be hoping to do. As here we go once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go on the battlegrounds of PUBG Mobile Esports for the African region for our second game of the day. This is day 5 for Group A and Group D. As all of these teams, of course, don't forget, are indeed born to win. Welcome to the exciting match brought to you by Oppo. Get your gamer mode on with the much-loved Renault 5 series. As we have a playing path a little bit more over to the eastern side. And here, DK, I'm going to say it once again. All I want is an eastern phase 1 circle because nobody, and I truly mean nobody, wants to deal with that puny river. We hate it. It's horrible. Let's avoid it at all costs. Thank you very much.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, whether or not the PUBG gods will answer your call. But so far as we know, the flight path doesn't determine too much when it comes to Sanhok. What's more important is where that first initial phase is going to be popping. So yes, hopefully the PUBG gods answer. Oh, no, there's your answer.
Oh, why? Though we could have a mountain finish, and that's pretty fun. There you go. That was my point. That's why I'm here for analysis. I bring a lot of depth to the game. No, I don't. Jesus.
Oh, man. Already an interesting spot, though, coming in there from the players here from the Magicians, as well as, Mazexes. Mazexes, they've really been bringing it in so far today. They've already been in that top 16, I think, starting off the day. Now moving into the top 10. Are they going to be looking to push even further? As you've pointed out, one of the teams that we still need to see that performance from is also the ATL Magicians.
That's what you need to try and play catch up a little bit. ATL Magicians can't afford a bad game here. When you look at their rankings, they are looking so far in. Let me find it. Magic Finger, 24th place currently was 45 points. Clearly, they just need a drastic change, and unfortunately, starting off with a fight versus Mazexis is not the best way. I don't know what these two teams are like. They're like, one of them is a positive and one of them is a negative side of the magnet, and they're just attracted to each other. It happened to them last game. Luckily enough, Mazexis were like, this is not worth it. We're going to move away. But even then, ATL Magicians died out early. So, got to be careful. If you can leave, that'll be great. Which seemed like that is the case. 3 of the players currently left. They still have 1 player that's legacy that's left behind. But that's just to facilitate the transition. Be there as the front line. If he goes down, it will be a minimal loss. Instead of losing 3 players, you want to make sure you can remain as a somewhat huge enough squad. So they're moving out. I think that's a great decision of ATL Magicians. They know 100% their position in the rankings, DK. They know one mistake, and that's pretty much the doors almost completely shutting down on themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really, really good call. I have to agree with you on that one. So curious to see just how far they're going to try and push on in, of course, right up ahead of them on their way back up into zone. We do see the players there from 21st Century. So this could be an interesting engagement coming in between the ATL Magicians and 21st Century, as both these teams are in dire need of those points and looking to make their way up in it towards that top 16. But looking to the zone itself, on its souls, the players there from Ultima, pretty safe, pretty secured within that zone. We could see a little bit of an exchange breaking up between them. Meanwhile, up in towards Cal, the players here from Influence Rage Africa, they are sitting pretty golden in regards to that zone. I mean, there's no one contesting them up in this region. Meanwhile, that mountainside is looking pretty tough, though.
Yeah, when you're looking at this circle, you are expecting it to potentially end around this terrain. So if you want to rotate early, go to the northwestern island. I think that would be a pretty strong call to go for. I mean, already got teams like Era Crew that are going to be going for their push. Ultimate taking it really slow. And Honored Souls Africa, they need to be a little bit wider spread. I'm not going to lie. I think this is a good opportunity for them in this game, but you need to keep information on what's happening up north, what's happening to the east, and especially what's happening to the south. But right now, instant priority is northern side as Era Crew are indeed closing that gap. They're getting closer. Impulse is going to be the first player having that point of impact with the rest of Souls. First nade's going to be exchanged. Zodiac waiting for the point of contact. We'll move away. Nice damage onto Impulse. Actually being a random nade with very minimal information. Did quite a lot of work. And now that's going to be making Era Crew think, is this worth fighting for? In my mind, I would say yes, but not on the phase one. This is too early of a risk to take.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the leaderboard, both these teams are side by side. There's only a 2-point difference between them. So whoever wins this fight could be, sitting quite comfortable, but also that little bit more closer to sitting in the ideal positions. Meanwhile, the Magicians in 21st century, just as we'd hoped, starting a bit of an exchange here.
Man, ATL Magicians, they're just trying to run away from one fight and they walk right into another. I don't know if it's karma or anything, or if it's just James just continuously clicking the button against the will of ATL Magicians, but these guys seem relatively unlucky for Magicians at least. So very weird. Gandalf will have to teach him a few tricks up their sleeve. Nothing really otherwise out of the realms of possibilities. I'm not really too surprised to see how this game is currently happening. The nades are being exchanged. That gives the information over. 21st century will be spotted away by MGC. It's just going to be battle of length. Maybe a little bit back and forth. Maybe a nade knock. And if that does happen, might have a full-on push. But other than that, there's no reason for it to just start for no reason.
But it's a good awareness coming in here from the Magicians. We see a fairly decent spread from them as they now get ready to move on. And again, the spread up on the hill here.
Oh, Ghost. He's in such a good position, DK. I'm loving it.
He could really sneak in and find a cheeky shot into Honored Souls. And I'm liking the approach actually coming in here from the Era Crew. I mean, drawing all the attention to the three main players, holding that front line.
You saw him.
Ghost. Oh, come on.
Yes. There you go. He strikes, picks up one, left the double. Oh, Ghost, that was 10 billion IQ right there. You're winning this. I don't even want to add on top of that. That was just so clean from Ghost. I love to see it. Confirm those kills, baby. They're yours to take. You deserve every single one of them. As now they're just going to wrap it up around wrist. That's a headshot confirming from Zinc. Ghost, you are a beast in the realm of men. And that's going to be their mountain, now secure for them side.
A beautiful, beautiful push coming in there. I mean, Clutch now trying his utmost to just try and get away. He might even take a little bit of damage. Yeah, not too crazy. But now it's going to be that ever-important strategic delayed rotation coming in here from Clutch. He's just going to have to try and hold on and just stick it through and try to stay hidden as long as he possibly can.
Yeah, that's unfortunately how it's going to work out. Luckily enough, this is not Miramar. I mean, I wouldn't know because I've never casted Miramar on this PMCO. They just don't want me to cast Miramar. I don't know why. And because of PMGC last year. I have no idea. But yeah, as you said, he's going to play the waiting game. He's going to just try and remain undetected. He's going to be hoping for a top 5 purely by sneaking. Very rarely do you see a solo player actually result in a win late game. But another push is happening, though I'm enjoying this position a little bit more from Era Crew, though. Where the hell is Ghost going? He's just leaving. Mafia is leaving. They have no information that Ultima is currently closing that gap.
Yeah, and this could be a beautiful, beautiful assault coming in from the side of Ultima as they start the fight. Impulse, the first one to fall. Zinc following right hard on his heels, and what a beautiful push. I mean, you pointed this out. Ultima being one of those teams that also needs to step it up, bring in those points, and man, they come out swinging 2 points on board. Will they now be able to get that full squad wipe on towards the players here from Era Crew?
Ultima just gave a shot of their own medicine back to Era Crew. It's just like, you get the same. Yoink! My tippity top of the mountain now. As Maffy's just going to try and crawl away behind that tree and hope that it remains undetected. Going to have to do the exact same play as Clutch. Now look how the turntables. That's how it goes down. Not going to go for the shot, no way. I mean, at least Ghost is very far, right? You know he's not going to go out, so at least there's still a living chance. But they only got 2 players knocked. They know those kills will not instantly confirm, so they know there's still 1 player minimum possibly around here, potentially 2. We know as a fact that Ghost already left. I like Ultimo just clearing out every position, and they see that one picks out of place. They were fully aware of a player still being here, lingering in the shadows. As Mafia gets picked up. And that's kill number 3, Ultima. Starting off strong right off the bat.
I mean, and it's a good play coming in from Ultima here. They are looking to make a run for that top 16. And if they continue on this trend, we could potentially see them securing a play like that. And as we said, you know, this is kind of that do or die situation. Era Crew, they are so close to top 16, already sitting with a very comfortable 56 points in grand total. Now having the 3 kills on board, it puts them on only 2 points away from being able to touch the top 16. But now that zone still closing in. I'm curious to see where the next phase is going to be taking us. As 21st Century, they're running into a bit of an issue over on towards that eastern side.
I shall initiate a prayer for these teams because this is just not okay. Where's it going to end up? I don't know. We'll have to see, I guess. But you're going to have to play a game of die almost here and just throw your dice, whichever number it is. If it's 1 or 2, go one island. 3 or 4, you go another. 5 and 6, you go another island. So, unfortunately, there's no easy decision. Even I would very clearly potentially avoid the southern island. It doesn't seem like it will be heading that way. Immortals went for their own rotation, getting relatively close to MZR Esport as of right now. That could result in a little bit of a clash. And I do think Immortals might go for the wider rotate up northwest. I think that will be the best entry point into the northwestern island. But yeah, man, this is not fun. Now teams are in a situation where they have no idea which island is going to end up on. And what you want to do in these current situations when you do not know what's going to happen, get as close as possible to the river. And the instant that circle shifts, if it is not in your favor or if it is, you take a decision instantly based on that shift. So that's what we're going to hope some teams do, such as, for example, C Esport that's already started that. And some teams already positioned in a trifecta, which is easily the best position in a circle, DK.
Yeah, I mean, zero tolerance, this could be a really strong position for them to hold, as we do see them positioned on towards that southwestern island, rather. Now, I mean, Immortals, they've got a really interesting rotation. Yes, we did have the 2 players making that rotation up onto the northwestern island, but the rest of the squad, Umar and Sahil, they still caught all the way down into the south in the blue zone, still trying to find their way up and set up that potential anchor point if they could be able to make it all the way through. And I mean, it's going to be really tough gameplay as they do have the players there from KHK positioned right up ahead of them. I'm not quite sure whether or not KHK is going to come back swinging in this one, but Era Crew, they're definitely looking to show some dominance over on towards this northwestern island.
Oh, seemed like Ghost got a little sneak. The Pubg. I'm going to confirm it just yet. He's taking his good old time. Maybe trying to bait a few more players coming his way. But now the fact is the Ghost took that shot. He is now spotted away, and he's thinking of just leaving even further if he can. Checking every nook and cranny. Never too sure, never too aware, never too safe. Zayden's just spotting it out with Blaze, making sure that he cannot get that kill confirmed onto Pubg. I'm liking it. How they're doing. Checking that ridge line. Ghost knows that there's no living chance now that he's going to get that knock. He lost the opportunity. He lost the upper hand ages ago. I like these games of Sanhok. I don't know what you think, DK, but they've been very chill in the early game. At least sometimes. This one's been a little bit more hectic because of this fight, especially on the mountaintop. But other than that, sometimes you'd have 1, 2, 3 teams go out early. These games throughout this African PMCO have been actually really good on Sanhok. I did enjoy them a fair bit.
Yeah, they are quite entertaining to watch. I mean, the players really bringing in a little bit of a different strategic approach coming into these games. And I mean, now those strategies are going to be put to the test as we're getting ready to move into our next phase. That third phase about to pop right on up. And man, I'm expecting it to be crazy. Yes, it stays on the mountainside. Oh, this is going to be tough though. But already the players here from Ultima, they have themselves set up in a fairly decent position.
So they're actually taking a risk of pushing this. Okay, fair enough. I would have remained on the compound on top of the mountain just to make sure, because you know the circle went their way. You have big priority, but they want that kill on Ghost. No, they're about to walk over. Oh, they didn't get the intel just yet. Come on. Oh, Ghost is so well hidden. He might just get away with murder. I mean,
well, he is
with
a
knock.
ghost.
You know what? That is true. Now that I think about it, you do have a valid point. He do be a ghost like that sometimes.
You know, just lying
it's
there.
It's like when you
waiting.
ghost my DMs, when you ghost me on the DMs, DK. How could you do that to me?
Max.
I'm just trying to have a friendship with you, but you just ignore me.
I thought we settled this the other day.
Oh no. Oh, there you go. Spotted out. Babel's going to be knocked again. Ghost, what are you going to do now? Are you going to confirm it quickly? There you go. That's what we love to see. Does try to get pushed away. Unfortunately, it will not work out. Pabble will be sent straight back to the lobby. 4th kill over to our crew. Look at that. Down below in the northern side, we're going to be seeing that push from Influence Rage Africa. They're looking for a piece of this pie. Somalis, everything's going to be a change. I don't know what you think, DK, but I would say, Aiden, get back towards your team because now this position is so heavily contested. You need to be ready for team pushing your way. You cannot afford to be pulling a 1-1-1 spread.
Yeah, and as soon as you say that, Zero Tolerance, or sorry, rather the players there from INF already start taking aim over towards Aiden. So that just brings in the urgency of that rotation. He needs to get his butt back up to the safety of his team. Otherwise, it's going to be just a little bit too much pressure there, and it could be quite unfavorable for them. But, I mean, looking at the rest of the zone, we're having quite a bit of a congregation happening in towards that trifecta region, and I'm curious to see who's going to step it up. Meanwhile, Aiden, he's still going to stay here. He's not going to be relinquishing this position just yet.
Nope, he's going to be holding on to it for dear life. Mitch is going to be confirmed away as he was knocked initially by Sony, so that's going to be an extra kill coming on through. Down to now only 50 players. Quite a few teams, quite a few squads, unfortunately not up as a full 4-man crew. Oh, I'm seeing the Cybertruck. Not going to be used though, unfortunately. Still pretty sick skin. KHK in the wings, maybe waiting for a few teams to come their way, but because this is the trifecta, I would have really, and I mean really enjoyed to see an early rotation from Zero Tolerance skills. Unfortunately, I haven't done so. So now what happens when you do not rotate late or early from this kind of position is you need to gatekeep all the rest of the teams. Otherwise, you're showing your back, and that is how you go down. So now you have to fully commit. Zero Tolerance skills has no choice in the matter.
Yep, and of course they're going up against the players here from Mazexes. Mazexes we've seen today so far already just bringing in a strong play, but now will it be enough for Zero Tolerance to try and secure that position? They do have... Ooh!
Oh, it was so close.
Oh.
I know, man. Kind of hit the spot right. That grenade made you feel good, man. Oh, okay, but now you know you got to have to cross on over. Nice spray, nice angle held down. Vortex going to be doing quite a good amount of work. We'll try and confirm those kills. And that's exactly what he's going to do. Very swift in the execution. Spyro, that res on Mercury, you know that there's not a big chance of that actually working out. And if you do go for the raise, you're literally one nade away from going down. So I would say just leave it and try and remain as a solo player. Dive in the water if you can. That might just be the best option because there's quite a lot of water in play this time. So if you want to just swim with the fishies and hope that you survive that way, that is a viable strat that I'll be completely okay with.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a very interesting approach to bring into this game. But, I mean, so far, this has been a really healthy engagement for the players here from Zero Tolerance, finding them 4 kills on board. We are now still sitting with 14 teams remaining, but looking at the position Zero Tolerance has here, they need to be so careful because KHK is right there alongside them and just a little bit further north in the zone. We do see the players there from Liquid Diamonds, so it is going to be quite the pressurized position to try and play. But KHK now just comes flying into zone, trying to find those positions. Up comes Zero Tolerance skills, trying to make a bit of a stand here. But Hates just going straight for the fish there, as you pointed out. But obviously, they're going to try and secure a decent position on the opposite end. And, I mean, KHK just slightly beating them to that warehouse.
Yeah, it was such a good play. I really have to mention that from KHK. They sent the entire team forward, trying to set themselves up in front of Zero Tolerance so they could actually just held them at arm's length away from crossing that bridge. It was such a good execution. They're still up as a 4-man. Unfortunately, not able to capitalize on those few kills. They're going to be snatched away under their very nose. So KHK is going to be a little bit salty about that one. They're going to be a little bit mad up against Liquid Diamonds. Liquid Diamond also in a strong position themselves. But we're looking over there on the feed. You can see that C Esport have yet to jump away from the cliff over to the east. The more you delay it, the more tricky it could get. But I understand that you're not willing to take the dive just yet. It could get very tricky as game goes on. KHK going to suffer himself 1 knock, 1 first casualty. The gods indeed can bleed. Now everyone's going to try and find a position, and you still got some teams that are on the mountaintops, such as Ultima, that need to start thinking of a way down and parkour their way into the hillside.
Yeah, and I mean, especially looking at just the spread that we've got in the zone, the southern edge is going to be pretty crazy to try and fight. Liquid Diamonds, KHK, the players there from Zero Tolerance, the Immortals, and then also the players there from MZR just holding that off angle. But here we go, that blue zone is closing in, forcing the hand of the Immortals as they come rushing straight on into the warehouse. Pennywise just holding up ahead. Will it be enough? No, he gets taken right on down. Snurra and Jayabot still in the mix, still standing a chance here to try and apply that extra bit of a pressure onto the players from Zero Tolerance as well as the Immortals. But that blue zone is going to start just hacking away at the health bars.
Yeah, there's really only 2 other positions other than this compound held by Liquid Diamonds that's viable, and that's going to be the one that's close to Ultima and the one that's closer to the likes of INF, and even you could say potentially Insider that could be in a strong spot for Real Insider. We'll see if they're going to try and see that opportunity and strike while the iron is hot. I see Esport also starting to cross over the river, but Snurra has to sneak and get closer as much as he can. They heard it. MFP knows something's going on. Gets surrounded from behind, potentially. The nades are starting to get cooked up. There you go. From behind, going to try and get sprayed down, but Snurra knew. He knew what was about to happen, and he gets it done. That's kill number 1. KHK, can they get a tad more coming their way? Oh, no. Okay. I jinxed it. I'm sorry, mate.
But I mean, Liquid Diamonds, they just so aware. They just keeping their eyes on all those potential rotations that could come straight in their direction. So a really good play coming in there from them. Jerbot now looking to try and apply a little bit of that heal strat. But meanwhile, the rest of the zone just erupting in chaos. As we can see the players there from Rilla Insider getting eliminated. Fainted, trying to push on towards that northern edge. INF holding right there alongside them. CE Sports managing to make it on towards this island. But is it going to be enough? Zero Tolerance, though, coming under fire as Pyro just lays it down, and down they go. Beautiful, beautiful play coming in there from Pyro.
What a double kill. He was holding the perfect position, saw the fishies try to evolve and come on land, but unfortunately, Darwin was not allowed to be right. And Evolution will be shut down. Valhalla will get picked away. Nice nade from Leonidas. Twitterd's in, also looking for his opportunity to strike. Boom, looks like a pretty good nade. War roll a little bit closer to Leonidas. Hit, I think that was 20 damage or something. Still a pretty nice hit. Good with the silencer too, making sure you can't get really pinned down on your location too quickly. But oh, he gets up. The spray actually could work out for Leonidas for a bit. But he sprays too high and he gets taken down. Wizards in literally on a slither of HP is able to actually pull through. He has to make it over to the tree. Goes for the spray again. He has no HP and he just clutched it through like an absolute madman. But unfortunately, will not go the entire distance. But Wizard, that was a clean play. But you need Rick to make the most of it right after that situation was set up.
Absolutely crazy plays. But now, yes, it is an absolute pressure cooker situation. We've got INF positioned up in towards the north. The players there from MZR trying to hold on towards that western side. We do see the players from the Liquid Diamonds trying to push on in, but the shot's coming in. Who's going to be able to hold Liquid Diamonds? Zaha coming up with a quick spray. Sully finding one in as well. Now, the players here from INF are going to be looking to try and secure the zone. MZR, one player remain. Blood just holding up just outside in the blue. I don't know if he's going to be able to get in, but that zone has shifted out into the open now.
That is great for Influence Rage Africa. They have to take control, but unfortunately, they have no cast to make it work with. They do have a ghillie suit for one of the players, so that could somewhat work in their favor, as MZR also trying to sneak downhill, but that is one hell of a rotation to make work out. The Liquid Diamonds seem like their focus is now moved away from MZR. They are mostly focused on this team. As CE Sport get eliminated away in 5th place. KHK still got one player in the blue zone trying to heal up, so he could be able to snatch away a top 3 in a few mere seconds. But now they have to send it. Now they got the smokes. They haven't moved too much. This is big, but they have still a player get knocked away, as that's Hamzi dropping down and instantly getting picked away.
Oh, absolutely insane plays. And now it is up to the players here from INF and the Liquid Diamonds to try and bring it home. And we still have that play coming in from Jbot out in the blue zone, but the rush is coming through. Beautiful grenade getting sent over on towards Zaha. Now Darkness trying to get in that res, but up comes Potato with a beautiful fish into the smoke. Will he be able to close it up? Only one player for the side there of Liquid Diamonds standing between INF and that spot. Beautiful spray to close it out. Beautiful grenade also just being utilized. And now it is essentially up to the lone surviving player.
Oh no, that is horrendous. He's just feeling happy. He's feeling cool with himself. He was have all those first aids and he steals away 2nd place away from a Liquid Diamonds who was fighting really well this game. This is the Liquid Diamonds I was hoping to see at the start. The Blues in will be taking his life, and that is going to be game over as Influence Rage Africa secure himself a win. And I believe here this time, DK, Influence Rage Africa is our 4th team here to secure 100 points throughout this group stage in the PMCO. Great feat to achieve, known today. We're maybe struggling a little bit towards the end, but here you go. Got himself the win, and Influence Rage Africa once again putting their name on the map.
Yeah, I gotta say, this was a really healthy shuffle the teams had coming in towards Miramar. Sanhok. Wow, Miramar is still coming. We're not there just yet, but yeah, some really interesting plays. I liked the exchanges we had up on towards the mountaintop in the early stages of the game. The players there from Ultima really bringing in some surprise plays, and ultimately, you know, it was a bit of a tricky play. Era Ghost also just holding onto that rock, just managing to find a few additional points. But as soon as that zone shifted onto the coastline, that is where it became really, really tough. And, you know, having teams descending from atop the hill, teams moving in from that eastern side of the zone, it really made for some pretty tough plays. And I mean, yeah, KHK, they just looking to hold on and bring in those points onto the leaderboard.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're trying to make work in their favor was strong. But really, when you look at a circle like this, and we talked about it very quickly, and we touch upon this every single tournament where Sanhok is available, you want to go for the trifecta. Teams that went to the trifecta had I would say, a very clear chance to maybe not take themselves the win, but still secure minimum a top 5. And that's what a few teams were able to make work in their favor. We saw that coming out from Liquid Diamonds and a few other teams. It was good to see. But we're going to have to look at the match rankings right now to see exactly how many points were taken home. And that's a 27-pointer for Influence Rage Africa. 10 points ahead of second place in terms of points, at least, going the way of Liquid Diamonds. That is a statement made by Influence Rage Africa. And I'm hoping to see a lot more because this is a team that can be a little bit up and down. But when they are to the late game, this team is just way too scary to deal with.
Yeah, but also a healthy amount of points coming in for the side of C Esports. As we saw coming into this match, they were just on the edge of that top 16. And this performance, definitely enough to see them move back in or move up into that top 16. But, you know, zero tolerance. They also brought it in. Yes, they were able to find 7 kills. So a really strong count there for the side. But will it be enough? You know, I don't know if they're going to be able to make up that point difference to try and secure a decent position, but we're going to have to wait and see how the next 2 remaining games are going to go for them.
Yeah, they're going to still need 2 fantastic games because before this one, Zero Tolerance Skills were in 29th place and only had 33 points. So they still increased it by a significant margin. But if you're talking about getting into the top 16, before this game, top 16 was 61 points. So they need to double how many points they had at the start of the day, which is not an easy feat to achieve, unfortunately, for them. Now looking onto our second page, we're going to be seeing that we're going to be having a few teams looking pretty dire in that position. And the teams that we needed to see do well, we're looking at this one. It's 21st Century, needed a good showcase. ATL Magicians also needed a really strong performance. These 2 teams, you said it, maximum of 2 bad games. Now you need banger after banger. But unfortunately, that is just really hard to execute if you're already struggling this much.
Yeah, I don't know whether or not they'll be able to step it up, but of course we will find out as we move into the final 2 games. So I've got some hopes, some dreams that we could potentially see that performance come in from 21st Century, the players of Experts. We didn't see them in this game, but maybe we should see them back in the 3rd match. And then, of course, the players there from Zero Tolerance really attempting to bring in that step up, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see, of course, but we are hoping to see a miracle will happen for some of the teams that are currently at the bottom side of the standings. With that said, there's no miracle that's going to happen for me because I am not going to cast a Miramar game, unfortunately. It's once again going to be stolen away from me by the one and only James Banks. So it will be James Banks and DK bringing you game number 3 this time around. So we'll head on over to the break, and then we'll go over to Miramania for our 3rd game of the day.
Oppo Rena 5. Cool down to win.
Oppo Reno 5, PUBG Mobile MENA Esports official designated smartphone.
Oppo Rena 5. Hold it to win.
Oppo Reno 5, PUBG Mobile MENA Esports official designated smartphone.
We are already back for the third game of today, and it's the last 2 days of action here to see which teams will make it forward to the finals next week. And again, DK, we've done it. We've kicked Max out for Miramar just so I can get what I love. Max is not allowed a Miramar game until tomorrow. We might be nice enough to give him one, you know, but now he just has to be tilted and watch it all go down. But already we're starting to see, I guess, the problems for some of these teams in getting the points they would need to really solidify themselves, because they'll end up kind of hoping, for some of them as well, that they really have to get into a position of tomorrow being the absolute best day ever for them in terms of other teams not making it. And you don't really want to sit in a position where you have to hope that a team doesn't get X amount of points, you know, and start doing maths in your head. And they'll be watching the game stressing, I'm sure, DK.
Yeah, it makes for some really, really tough days. So yeah, we got to see now what they're gonna bring as we move into Miramar. As there's no more opportunities for having bad games.
Oh, there is no more. But as always, guys, we are born to win. It's welcoming you to another exciting match brought to you by Oppo. You guys can get your gamer mode on with the much loved Reno 5 series phones if you want to be dominating your lobbies and owning it up in PUBG Mobile. This is the PMCO. This is Miramar. This is the third game of the day. And we've got a very fair plane in here.
Yeah, that is a really, really decent flight path to have. And I think the teams would be quite satisfied with that. But of course, the ever-essential kicker is going to come in as soon as that first initial zone pops. So I'm curious to see exactly where that is going to be. We've had a little bit of a back and forth with that position, see where the zone has gone. We've always been, well, I know you've been hoping for those island finishes over on towards the eastern side. So who knows? Maybe the PUBG gods will provide this time around.
I can hope, I can dream. In my entire commentary career, I've only had it once, and it was glorious. And then after that, I just kept dreaming and hoping some more, and never got it, you know. It's fairer for the players, I understand. You don't want that because it's treacherous, and also you can't really plan for it because it's the most obscene circle ever. But, you know, one day we'll all do it. Maybe, okay, Twitch chat, YouTube chat, everywhere you are, whoever's in chat right now, I've got a plan. When we get onto Miramar tomorrow, I want everyone, as the plane goes across, to just spam in chat island finish. Then maybe we can get it. Because like right now, the island's included in this circle, but it's not going to happen. You know, I can dream. There'd have to be some really wild, constant eastern hard shifts, but I'm probably not going to get it. Let's be honest.
Hey, who knows? I mean, that I think once that second phase pops, then we'll know exactly what we have in store for the remainder of the day. And speaking about the remainder, we already have a few hot drops coming into this map. I mean, over in towards San Martin and Hacienda del Patron, it's looking pretty hot and heated. This eastern side, over towards Impala, a little bit more relaxed. Mazexes can go about their business, make sure they've got everything they want. And, I mean, they've got the team here from Era Crew just to accompany them here. But one of the teams that we need to see that improvement come from is going to be the side of 21st Century.
game. They have not had the greatest of times, but they are fighting very fast. And we'll find themselves getting an op onto one player. Can he do some damage now? He's being shot back at, and oh! Hell Baby comes through. Manages to get himself the knock. He's going to go straight back over to finish off the job. And what you said about them needing to have some success here, it's not going to work out. And of course, he's going to make some noise. Going to put the hurt on. Oh, Kratos from the side, helping his teammate out. I like it. And they had no idea for that. Souls were not ready. In 21st Century, well, they're doing everything they can to push on forward on this vehicle coming out as well. No chance on the revive just yet. Info to be had here. Risks is there as well. And look at him. He's going to be surrounded. This is less than ideal. Pharaoh just got to try and get some damage done on towards him. Some utility going on out. And well, that was easy for him in the end. No finish off. So that means they managed to keep 4 players alive in it. And they net themselves 4 kills. Can't complain about that to start off with. They dealt with it very well.
Yeah, really, really great start here for 21st Century. And I mean, this could maybe be that game in which we see them bounce back absolutely phenomenally. I mean, they are still potentially within reach of being able to make it in. They only need about 26 points or so to make it into that top 16 for today. But I mean, will it be enough to secure them top 16 going into the finals? We don't know, but I mean, they got to still bring an absolute banger of a game. The next 2 matches, they need to be focused, they need to be on point, and they need to be so calculated in their approach.
That is certainly what it's all about, and certainly not easy at all. Because, like you said, 26 points is one thing, but then you've also got to try and factor in whatever teams might be able to jump up close to you. Praying for them to have a bad day doesn't always work, you know? Doesn't kind of pan out like that. So 21st Century needed 2 really good games ideally, but at least for now 4 is a good starting point for this Miramar game. And they've stabilized, they've got the loot, they don't want to flip the car, and luckily they stay on their feet, they keep things not too bad, and they'll continue their rotation. Now in terms of the circle, when it comes to a DK, down in the south and the west are going to be a bit more contested. Actually not that many teams directly in the middle of it all right now. 21st Century, and we got INF in there as well. Liquid Diamond, they're all sitting quite comfortably. Immortals are there at the same time. But then you get towards the south, there's be a lot of fighting potential for what will be going down there. And on the western side, again, we always see this, right? When it came to Miramar last time, we had a similar circle. This we had it a little bit further down, nearly got the island finish I wanted, hopefully, but it didn't come through. The teams on the western side, again, had to really fight their way through. And I believe it was the team, like, this is bad memory for me, but it was the team that came from the south and ended up picking up the win because they were able to just hold on, work their way up, and weren't heavily contested as compared to some of the other teams. So it is maybe sometimes better for these teams to take a much longer rotation and try and take a different route, tank some of the blue potentially, and then work it out from there.
Yeah, especially those early phase blues. I mean, first phase, second phase, third phase, not doing too much damage, not doing a crazy amount, but definitely once you get up into that 5th phase, that is where you need to focus on just trying to stay ahead of the blue and not getting enveloped by it. But now, zero tolerance, getting their rotations in. One of the teams that have a really crazy amount of distance to try and cover to get all the way back up in towards zone. It is still a feasible approach for them. The players here from CE Sports holding on towards that El Paso position. Also curious to see whether or not and when they are going to try, you know, rotating back up into the zone. So far, we do see a fairly nice opening over in towards Picado. There's no one that has gone there. And that could maybe, depending on where the next phases are going to be going, that could be a potential favorable spot to have.
Yeah, it could be one that they might want to take. Obviously, a lot of teams try to center themselves up a bit more before they try and take a risk on it, but you never know. Luck could be on your side. It could pay off for you. MZR here, though, got a good vantage point to look around, see what other teams might be doing at this point. And actually, they are one of the teams that now sit on this western side, just above Picado, close to San Martin. But it does mean if they want to stay there, they could potentially wait to see that western cluster of teams that come through, something they can fire on down to, pick up some extra kills with it. But for now, they're probably just scouting ahead to see what could be in front of them if they do want to move more towards the center. Still a fair amount of time left within this first phase circle, but still teams working their way up. The Magicians have decided they were down the very south, towards the southeastern side. They were the bottom team out there. They've already started their rotation in alongside Fainted and EXZ. And Port Honored Souls, right? We watched them all go down the way they did. It certainly hasn't been pretty for these guys from start to finish. But it's all lessons to be learned. I think that's what it's about, right? When we look at some of the teams that haven't made it, and it is so competitive, like we keep mentioning. It's like getting to the finals is sure the dream, and then trying to qualify, great. But also just the fact that you can play in lobbies like this, play in official tournaments, and get practice that is way more important than just getting some scrims going, you know?
Yeah, I mean, wow, let's try that one again. It is an achievement all in of itself to be able to play in the PMCO, being one of those 32 teams to qualify to make it in. And, you know, as they get the opportunity to try and qualify for the finals again, that achievement gets pushed up a little bit further, and then essentially being the team to represent the Africa region, moving in towards that EMEAs, that is also just, you know, an absolute golden spot to be in. But now the teams still have to prove themselves. They still need to try and get in the necessary points. And looking at the positioning we've got from the teams coming into the zone, I mean, the South is going to be a highly contested region, and it's good to see the players here from the Experts joining us back again for this match. We didn't see them come in on Sanhok, but now Lucas, he's taken a little bit of damage there. They still have a full squad, manages to get that res in, but right here alongside them, they are going up against the Magicians, and I don't know if they'll be able to send the Magicians up in a puff of smoke.
Yeah, this is not looking good for the Magicians. Ash, all alone now, 3 of his teammates on the floor, already knocked down. He's trying to have a look around him, but like I mentioned, the Magicians with the team coming from the furthest down the south, they started a rotation early. And maybe they just full centered at this point without Ash to look further forward. And it seems like Experts will just be eliminating any of the Magicians they can find. Ash is keeping an eye out on it all. Will take a few shots, but he's heavily outnumbered and outgunned in this one. I don't fancy his chances massively, and you can see he's being quite cautious even when trying to take these shots. Nexi, he's standing there taking a few of those shots. Now they're going to start the push for it. Spider and Lucas coming on up in a buggy. Ash has got to be ready for this. Damage to be done for sure, but maybe it's better to just back away than try and hold on to this. And he's not going to have a chance to. He's still prone down. Lots of shots coming out towards him. Headshot's going to be landed. Lucas in with the kill. That's 4 found for Experts. So that's 2 straight squad wipes. But this time around, right, we've seen it from different teams, 21st Century and Experts. And for Experts, they didn't lose anyone in that. They dealt with that incredibly well.
Yeah, I mean, ATL doing a quick disappearing act as they get sent on through. Now, the Experts, this could be them looking to make a bit of a bounce back. But again, they're also one of those teams in need of the points, looking to try and secure themselves a decent position. ATL Magicians, not quite sure if they'll be able to make it up in that final match. They were sitting in 25th place, coming in with a grand total of 46 points. So it is going to be a little bit of a push, a little bit of a challenge. But we'll have to wait and see how that kind of then pans out. And looking at the teams currently set up, again, some strong positions in that centralized zone itself. We do see the players there from Mazexes holding on to that Minas Generales region. But I'm curious to see, though, just what kind of push we'll have coming in from the north. Because the players here from Zero Tolerance, as well as 21st Century, they're still making their way back up into zone. But it is a little bit of distance to try and cover. And 21st Century, they've really been looking to try and bring in that aggression. They're hungry for those points.
They really have, right? Anything they're seeing, they're wanting to take shots at. Like you were speaking about, DK, the fact that they need so many points just to even make it in without the other teams playing tomorrow. They know they've got to come through huge. And sometimes when your backs are up against the wall, that's when you can deliver. That's when you can take it to a whole nother level here. Maybe, just maybe, there will be a chance of in that, but it is still early days. 14 teams remain, 55 up and alive. Rotations now continue onwards. A lot of that water's been cut out on this new phase that's come through. It should be a very standard ending for it all. But like you mentioned, there's multiple areas now that, especially on this north side, the west side as well, now starting to come through. Spots have already been taken. There's even Rise from a Razor crew that's still in the blue right now, not really moving. Hopefully he hasn't lagged out or anything. Hopefully he can still push his way in. Maybe he's looting.
Yeah, let's go for that one. Let's
Fingers crossed. I'm praying for the best option for him.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely like to see those rotations come through a lot faster. I mean, the players there also from Ultima, they're still quite some distance away from the zone, and I don't know whether or not Eli is actually in the game or if he's AFK, as we just saw the blue zone catching up with him in the kill feed there, but this is where we get to that point where positioning is going to be absolutely essential, and already the players there from Arilla Insider having a decent position in a very centralized region. And also, Liquid Demons, they have a little bit of that high ground play to try and utilize. But the North is going to be pretty tough play, especially that we've got the players here from KHK just holding on. 21st Century, they're going to have a pretty tough one getting into this one.
So we still focus in and look at what 21st Century are doing. Rotations are here. They're being shot at, though, this time around. Do need to be cautious of that. Very looking to try and hang on, but he still gets clipped. Plenty of shots out towards him. And it's KHK. They haven't had to move for a little while. They've been sat there patrolling their area, trying to hold on. Index followed out behind his car. Big spray down coming in from Lewis, but only going to tag him up just slightly. And Gray, well, he's gone from having his vehicle shot at to walking into potentially another team here. Sully, is he aware of it? He may have heard something. However, they can spot each other out. He needs to be very careful. First shot's going to be landed onto Gray, so Sully does know what's going down, but it's just one player that's close. Nade's going to go up and he's going to back away, and I like that decision. You don't want to take too big of a risk in something like this.
Yeah, that's definitely where you have that safety in numbers. So ideally, we would like to see Gray just potentially trying to get a little bit of more reinforcement from the rest of his team, but he is fairly separated from them. Inspector having a little bit of an awkward bounce there with that grenade coming in as the players here from INF continue with their efforts trying to find that kill over on towards Gray. But 21st Century really hoping to see those the team really starting to condense that position, because I mean, this is not the ideal place to have a really big split happening. And Gray now feeling a lot of that pressure. We can see Kratos up ahead, so low on health. Up comes the rest of the squad, looking to rotate in, provide an extra bit of coverage.
Oh, they'll be able to escape. Luckily, they're going very fast and forward, but bail out of the vehicle. Ace, you need to be cautious. Spray down coming out towards him. Is he able to jump down far enough, though, or crawl down far enough, should I say, to avoid being finished off? Influence Rage Africa, they want to be on the hunt for this one. Blue's now going to start to come in and take over their position, which means a little bit of extra pressure on phase 3 will be added. But Gray, he did manage to stay alive at least. Ace has been revived. It's only Kratos that's died so far, so it's still not the end of the world here, 21st Century. Gray is very isolated, though. It's going to be a straight finish off. They know where the rest of his team went. Easily found, so now they've lost 2. And, well, this is where you start to think they may all be falling apart for him, mate.
Yeah, I mean, and they're also going up against the players here from INF as well as KHK, so pretty tough place to try and push in, but Inspector comes strafing up.
Easy.
Finds it. Yep, down they go. 21st Century getting eliminated. Yeah. A pretty tough game so far for 21st Century.
Yeah, so far that is the end as well for him, at least on Miramar. One more game to go, and there's just too many points needed, mate. If you look at the average of what they've put up, it can be very problematic. But Fainted, who certainly had a great day yesterday and have been trying to keep themselves up there throughout these matches today, pushing forward, grabbing much needed points, will be able to get themselves a kill. Can they do anything else more now, though, against the Liquid Diamonds? Darkness not sure on what he wanted to do just there. Then going to jump up in the vehicle. Going to end up getting shot at. Good. Land so far from Power. Can't quite blow it up, though. Venom's the one to fall next. Hamzy looking out. They've got good positions at times to fight from, but they seem a bit disconnected themselves in, like, what they wanted to do there.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely where you want to have all your ducks in a row. You want to know exactly how to handle the situation and how to best try and push up. So the communication is going to be absolutely essential here. And you can't afford really to have any lackings when it comes to the comms, especially in a pressure situation like this. Now, as we move to the end of our fourth phase, that fifth phase about to come on in. Valhalla trying to make a quick run here, but MZR just sending up an absolute barrage of utilities, trying to find that opening. But a good play still coming in from the players here of CE Sports. They have that position just within zone. They can now look to try and leverage that over towards the players there from MZR. The grenades getting sent on in. Will it be able to reach all the way across? Some really great distances coming from that though.
Yeah, avoiding it for now. Butcher got himself the ghillie suit on, trying to blend in with surroundings as much as possible, but they still have to find their way to push in. It's all about if they can push CE Sports back while maybe getting a knock or a kill going their way. Keeping themselves safe before that blue comes in, because now it will start to do a decent amount of damage in there. INF back up with another fight in. Sully's the one on the floor, but they seem to be able to overwhelm a Razor crew, and that'll be our next team down and out of it. INF, they're on a cleanup duty right now. 3 in the first, 4 on this next one. Sitting pretty at 7 for now.
Yeah, man, they chasing that position in which we see KHK currently sitting still at the top of the leaderboard. You know, influence, they go at it. They want to secure a really strong position, seeing that this is their last day, their last opportunity. But also another team that's still applying the heat, applying the pressure, is the side here of the players from Arilla inside it. They're still stepping up. We still see them in the kill feed every now and again. And, I mean, KHK, they've been reduced down to only 1 remaining player. The western side is getting quite interesting, but still looking over in towards the northeastern side. I mean, I'm not expecting this to get any easier anytime soon. And now this crater position fight is quite an interesting one to be in. The Immortals just utilizing the ridge lines here in the crater field. Now MZR and CE Sports going to have to try and find their way back up into the zone. And they have to try and potentially go past the Immortals, not necessarily through them.
And that on its own is going to be a hard task. Step by step, more of these teams are just waiting for someone to make a mistake. And you just look at this new circle. Very open. Part of the road in there as well. All the teams that are coming on down will look to rush in if possible and find some space. But they actually won't be gate kept now. So you're one of the early ones. Can look good. Darkness. Ripped clean out of the car. Easily found there for Wizards in. And look at it. It just turns around, goes straight in for the next one. No problems at all. He's hungry. Yeah. He's gunning them down, and he wants to take as many names as he can. Now the push is going to come on through. Umar wants to hold on to it. Sahil as well. They've got a nice angle to fight from. Ball sent in from MZR. They want to go and challenge this, but it's not working out for him. Bit of an exchange as of now. But Sahil maybe looking to try and stabilize in this one. He doesn't want to get overrun, though. There's no chance of that revive coming through. He needs to play the angles to himself. Tries to use his teammate as a bit of a bait, but it doesn't work out for him. And MZR, well, they push on up. They did lose Clutcher, but they've still got 2 players on the floor they can try and revive. But it's all about the timing in here for him.
Yeah. It's all down to timing, and up comes the last remaining player for the side of the Immortals. MFB looking to clean it up, sends down the spray. But quick ducking back in behind the hard scuff. It takes so much damage. Will Turpus be able to pull this one off? We did see a beautiful clutch come in from Turpus in day 1. But will he now be able to continue that effort, pushing in towards MFB? Absolutely relentless effort. MFB quickly pulling off the first aid, managing to get those health bars right on through. Up comes Turpus trying to squeeze his way on in, taking quite a bit of damage. It is so close. MFB so relentless. Will he get it done? No! Turpus gets it done.
Turpus, you are the clutch. That is not just 1 but 2 games we've seen him pull things like this. A 3-man on Erangel that stays in my mind, and now this here. Okay, his teammates have started to fall around him. It's problematic for sure, but individually, he steps it up. Now, can he get Thunder up in time? It's very close. This may be too much to ask from him.
Oh, man. It is going to be a pretty crazy player. But now the players here from CE Sports also sitting onto Ricky, getting knocked right on down. Dizzy keeping a very watchful eye there on Yatu Valhalla. But will he be able to get it in, though? MZR also making it way through. Thunder so close. Oh, the spray comes in. Leonidas just on point with the spray. Now it's up to Valhalla to try and survive and bring it in for the side of CE Sports. Absolutely insane gameplay. And now, man, the heat is on.
I love that. Fainted. All tucked away in this little shack. Perfect route for them to shoot up on the hills. And it paid off massively for him. Good stuff coming out. 3 kills found. They've only lost 1 player. More going to go their way to bring them to 4 now. And like you mentioned, Valhalla, he's kind of pinned down. Don't really understand how he's going to get out of there, but... Oh, there we go. Steal some more away. Howard, did you get that? Did that go your way or did someone else steal it? Killfeed's just catching up. I'm trying to work. Yeah, Power did get it. So there's another one. 5 found. Lovely jubbly for him. And everyone else who wants to try and come down, like, you've got to fight against Fated, who've got the perfect spot to fight from. They don't have to move as quick as you do. They got a bit more time on their side. 6 teams alive in this, but only 13 players alive. This is going to get wild.
But I gotta say, a really strong performance coming in from the players there of the experts. Already sitting on a very comfortable 10 kills so far for this match. I mean, that is quite a bit of a bounce back, missing out on one of those matches. But we don't know if it's going to be enough. They definitely have to try and aim for that winner chicken dinner. 6 teams, 5 teams to still fight your way through. It is going to be a pretty tough call. But now, as the players here from Fainted move away from their attack shack, will they now be able to secure a decent position? MZR and CE Sports still holding on, still just staying within this western side of the zone.
The thing that experts need to do here now is take control, right? They have pretty much all of the positive side of the circle to fight from here. Everyone's coming in. They're a full squad as well. Everyone's just waiting for someone to make a mistake in here. Fainted start to push their way up now, looking to fight it out some more. MZR trying to control it. Do have grenades to fire back with. Valhalla's just hoping everyone forgets that he even exists. Oh, Dizzy. Oh, Dizzy. I like it. You need to keep looking, though, mate. You can't be waiting. Trip. He's taking some shots. He wants to go down with some sort of a fight, but the blue zone's going to be eating him up, especially at phase 6, and that's it. Play zone takes him down. Another player gone. Rilla Insider out in 6th. Power. Oh. Up close and personal. He wasn't ready for that. Woo! 2 coming out as well. Nice and fast. Ready to fight. Trying to make the most of this. Leonidas does play the cleanup duty. 6 kills now for Fainted. Can he get Dizzy up, though? Experts, they've heard what's going on. They know what's up, and they want to put a complete end to this now. They can overwhelm anybody. They've got the health, they've got the weapons, and they've got the utility to do so. 3 teams remain, and well, it's heavily favored for experts here to get a big win on Miramar. Just 2 players are Fainted to fight, and 1 for MZR.
Yeah, this is going to be some easy claps coming in there for the side of the experts. I mean, they are just expertly positioned within the zone. Fainted now, having to try and make a bit of a play here. Dizzy and Leonidas having quite some distance to cover to get in. And the same, of course, goes for Thunder as well. But who knows? He might come rolling up into zone as Leonidas now gets picked right on through. It's up to Dizzy. Kaneki up ahead, trying to find that spray on towards him. And this is where experts could now step up and just reign supreme, bring in that winner chicken dinner. Thunder holding on to the top side. Kaneki taking a little bit of damage. Dizzy not backing out of it just yet. 6 kills on board. Will they be able to make it 7? Dizzy now moving in. MZR gets eliminated. It is now the final fight. A 1v4 battle for the finish right here on Miramar.
So Fainted were willing to allow the points to slip away and have the play zone get them. Dizzy, on the other hand, he's put himself in a position where he will have to fight. Expert's going to charge on forward, an easy cleanup at the end, and a 28-point game for our first place team in Experts. What a turnaround. What great control they had there when looking at how that final circle was coming forward. They had the spacing. They pushed into it very early on. They heard the shots of where the other teams were, and they just took control and forced them to be stuck out in a way that they could never fight back in.
Yeah, that was an absolutely beautiful play. And I mean, the experts now, as you pointed out, they're bringing in 28 points. Before this match, they were sitting on 33. So that in one single match, they were able to acquire almost the accumulation of all their previous matches they played in. So, I mean, things are looking pretty good for them. If they can continue to push through and repeat that moving into the final match, I mean, I think they might be quite satisfied with the result at the end of the day.
And you know what a big win like that does as well, right? Huge confidence boost. You get a bit of momentum off it. They can take that through to Erangel, then they're going to be living the dream coming into the closing parts of this game. But that Miramar got real crazy, real fast. We're going to take a look at the match rankings and see how everyone did across that, because like I said, it was going to get wild, but it was very split in terms of there was a lot of points being had for many teams here. Just look at this spread right now. Fainted again. We've got to just keep saying the consistency in these last 2 days from these guys has been impressive. They've really turned it around. Zexis up there as well, MZRC. Like, it's not a huge disparity. Obviously, it's 28 at the top, but everything else is fairly split, at least within these top 8 teams here.
Yeah, I mean, also a really good day so far for Mazexis. They've also been really dialing in their plays, dialing in their aggression. The same going for MZR. I mean, really impressive stuff they've been bringing in so far today. So I'm curious to see what that will result in as we get to the end of our next match. So some pretty hopeful plays still to find their way on in. But experts, absolutely phenomenal performance.
Certainly is. We'll see what the second side of the match rankings has to show us as well, because obviously there may be a few teams that didn't get the points we would have expected them to do. Souls especially, right? They did start to be pained, that's for sure. Are we going to get our next? Are we only looking at 8? Are we going to get it?
It's a guessing
Maybe
game.
not.
I mean, you gotta give your first half.
We're being trolled right now. There we go. The 21st century, 4 points for them, like we saw at the very beginning. It's just not good enough, right? Like, they're trying to fight back in it, but it's problematic. Liquid Diamonds, considering how well they started off the whole tournament as well, 1 point's not certainly what they would be happy with here. So you can see top 8 did very well at the spread of points, but everyone else, it was a little bit more of a struggle.
Yeah, definitely quite a bit of a struggle there. I mean, even looking at the players there from ATL Magicians and Era Crew, definitely not the kind of points you want to get. But Era Crew, they are so close to making it up in it towards that top 16. So, yeah, definitely the next match, they have to bring their all. ATL Magicians, not quite sure what's going to happen. But again, we could still wait and see what the final match will bring. And I mean, I think this final game, this final Erangel of the day is going to be absolutely crazy play, because it's the last match for Group A and Group D.
That's what it's all about, right? The last match needs to be the best they can make it. And obviously the teams at the top, they just want to add more points to it so they can potentially sit in that very top spot. But it's just one of these ones where after you've played your game, you've got to do your best you can. And then you have ideally that we can make it work when it comes into the next one. But we're going to kick it to a break, guys. When we come back, the final game of the day is coming your way. DK, you're heading on out. Maxman's coming back in because we didn't want to give him Miramar. We wanted that for ourselves. We'll see you guys in a few.
Rena 5. Cool down to win.
Oppo Reno 5, PUBG Mobile Mina Esports official designated smartphone.
Oppo Rena 5. Hold it to win.
Oppo Reno 5, PUBG Mobile Mina Esports official designated smartphone.
This is now the final stretch for all these teams of Group A and Group D to see if they can try and secure themselves a spot in the top 16. And even then, you're not sure to be safe, as we just saw a great game happening over there on Miramar that I had to watch and not cast. I'm still very triggered by that. And because of that, I got rid of James Banks. I just yeeted him into the Netherrealm. He is not coming back anytime soon, so don't ask. He is not going to be here anytime. But yeah, DK, great showcase coming out from none other than the side of experts. This was one of the teams that you said you wanted to do relatively well, and now they're just shy of that top 16, but they still need to close it off with a banger to make sure they can make it up there.
Yeah, definitely an absolutely phenomenal performance coming in there from the experts. We're going to be looking to see whether or not they'll be able to continue with the momentum moving into this final match, and a great jump that they've experienced there all the way up in towards that 17th place, 1 point shy of top 16. But this is going to be the match in which they not only need to focus on getting the necessary points to get in, but also secure a decent position in anticipation of the teams participating in tomorrow's game. So, I mean, the heat is on. The teams now, this is do or die situation, because past this match, there's nothing else they can do.
I do have to say, though, we got some teams that are already out of the runnings here. You got to look at some teams you're looking at, for example, 21st Century. That's pretty much GG. Zero Tolerance Skills, pretty much GG. Seven Sins, ATL Magicians, almost also pretty much GG, unless they get a banger performance. And even then, they are not sure to be safe tomorrow. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This was what we were looking forward to the entirety of today. See how these teams of Group A and Group D are going to do and how they can find closure to their group stage adventure. And then I'll have to bite their nails as they look at the other teams of the other groups play tomorrow to see if they're going to steal away their position. Of course, as always, don't forget that we are indeed born to win. Welcome to the exciting match brought to you by Oppo. Get your gaming mode on with a much-loved Renault 5 Series. But DK, good playing path to start things off. I'm not too unhappy about that one, but we need the good Phase 1 circle to go with it.
Yep, definitely need a decent zone to finish off the day here. And yeah, man, Max, this is game time. I mean, I'm thinking we're going to be seeing a pretty strong performance coming from the teams already situated fairly high up that leaderboard. But even looking at a team, for instance, like Mazexus, this is their opportunity to try and solidify a position past what they've been able to achieve so far. And I mean, they are joining up in towards that Century group. We've got now 7 teams actually sitting on 100+ points. So a pretty decent number to be in. But of course, you know, they don't have to worry too much about making it through in towards that top 16. We're going to be looking a little bit further down, anywhere from the players of the Liquid Diamonds, potentially all the way down to about, I'm assuming, around about maybe let's say the Honored Souls or Ultima, they still have an opportunity, a chance to get into top 16. But I mean, after this match, 16th place is not going to be good enough. You need to be well within the top 16.
Yeah, that's the thing. Top 16 is great to have now, but hitting tomorrow, teams are going to catch up to you. And James was talking about it earlier. You do not want to be in that situation where you got to make mental math and just be like, oh, if to get this many points, we might qualify, blah, blah, blah. It's just very stressful and you just want to avoid it like the plague. So hopefully teams that are going to make it in will make it in relatively comfortably. Otherwise, it will start to become very scary. Though, one thing that's not scary is this phase 1 circle. Very similar, if not the exact same than what we saw in our first game of Erangel today. So teams are going to know how some teams like to rotate, and that should also allow, hopefully, ATL Magicians to avoid Mezexis as much as possible. They want to make sure they don't encounter that kind of team. But other than that, we should have things go down the exact same way. But also, one thing that I think is very important to keep in mind, DK, is, and we talk about this many times when I'm casting the PMGC, when we do some PMPLs, is the same thing. You have some teams, when they know as a fact we're not going to qualify, they got nothing to lose. They could just see, oh, this team, they might not qualify if they get a bad game. Let's just chase them down. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's a realm of possibility of teams just being over here wanting to play spoilers and ruin your chance of making it into the finals.
I mean, that results in some really, really interesting gameplay. And I mean, that's also something that I point out when we get into situations like that, is the teams that know, okay, cool, you know, they have no chance of qualifying. They have an immense amount of power, as they can decide which other teams ahead of them would still be able to get that done, and whether or not they're going to relinquish their points to them, or, you know, maybe one of the other teams. So yeah, some crazy power coming in here. So I'm quite curious to see what all the teams are going to do in this final matchup.
I just love when we're spectating a car. I don't know how the spectators do it. They're doing great. But you just have one guy who's driving a car solo in the field. There's one tree. There's one singular tree. Bonk right away. I don't know. I love those moments. They're just so good.
It's a
like
skill.
Caught in. It's literally caught in 4K.
Yeah.
Or maybe I think we're streaming in 1080p. So caught in 1080p, but you get what I'm saying. So trying to avoid it as much as possible.
Caught in HD.
It is actually. You know what? That sounds way better. That sounds way better. You got some way with the English language, DK. That's why you're here.
Yeah. And I like blue shirts. That's also, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I want to know your opinion and people's chat's opinion, because we were starting the show and we said, because every day we're doing something. One day we had all black shirts, one day we had white shirts, today we got all blue shirts. James said my shirt was not blue, and I'm like, bro, are you blind? Like, what do you think? No, it's a blue shirt, right?
Well, it's a whole few different shades of blue in there. I mean,
but it's blue.
Yeah, it's a like, you're covering all the different aspects of blue. I mean,
there you go. Because I'm all inclusive, because I take everyone in with me. Doesn't matter if you're dark blue, a light blue, a weird blue. I'm like, I welcome you with open arms.
I've never seen weird blue.
Unless you're like a very dark orange, then I don't want anything to do with you, because I think that's a horrible color going towards the brown. No, just get out of my face. Other than that, I like every colors. They're great. Yeah. Especially blue. It's a cool color.
Yeah. And speaking about colors, we've got two of them now getting ready to get into a bit of an exchange here. The players here from Honored Souls right up against MZR. And yeah, MZR looking to still retain their position, fighting for stronger placement in that top 16. And I mean, looking at the position currently for the Honored Souls, they're sitting over in 22nd, 55 points on board. They could still bring in a strong show and make their way in there, as there's only a few points, only 7 points to go for them. So, I mean, maybe if they have a good game here and stay honored, they might maybe be able to bring something home.
You're saying 7 points, but we know that they need way more than that. Literally, if they want to be safe going into tomorrow, we need to see them come in hot with a 15-point game, and I would say minimum. If they can close off a win plus a big kill count, that would make it really strong. Though MZR, currently in a position where you're not safe in the top 16. They're currently 12th. They need a few more just to be a lot more comfortable. Above top 10 would be fantastic. Like that, going into tomorrow, you know you should be completely okay to go. Briss is going to be the first one to initiate. Got the Scar in hand. 10 bullets will be used. Clutcher's waiting to go out. Does pick up one. That is how you hold a staircase. That is so well played by Clutcher. Going for the second, gets the head once again. Why are you giving those kills one by one, guys? He just did nothing for you, and you just gave him 3 kills for free. He's going to go down. That's an easy triple pointer.
Wow.
MZR, yeah, for free.
That was just so beautifully done there. I mean, absolutely insane Clutcher. Oh,
that was almost a 1v4. Almost a 1v4 coming out from Clutcher, but they're still going to come in hot. They're going to confirm it, and that is done and dusted. MZR get himself 4 kills, and I know Souls Africa who said they had a chance, but unfortunately, they cut it very short, and that's going to be their adventure in this entire PMCO already over.
Yep, that's a bust right then and there. And now as we move on, another team still potentially looking to maybe get something done is the ATL Magicians and Zero Tolerance. But here we go now. This shot's flying back and forth. Oh, both these teams so close. 3 points separating them. But the grenades definitely not as Sunny sends one into Chapo.
Sunny, good nade. Gotta move out. ATL Magicians once again magnets when it comes to these early game fights. Spectra, smoke, they know they're just going to close that gap. They're going to go for the random blue shots. Get the intel back. That's an extra kill. That's their 3rd point coming up in just a few seconds time. I mean, they need a good game, right? Zero Tolerance currently in 28th position, only with 43 points. Even a win with a huge amount of kills will still not be 100% confirming their position in the top 16. So they need a great game. There's no option in the matter. So starting off with 3 kills right off the bat is a good start for them.
Yeah, and I mean, now everything once again being up to Ash to try and bring it home for the Magicians. We definitely need to see some magic happen here. I don't know if he'll be able to pull a rabbit out of a hat, or maybe he'll need to pull a hat out of a rabbit. We'll have to wait and see which one it will be.
Yes. Pull a hat out of a...
Yes.
I don't even want to begin to imagine how you do that. I just had a mental image, and I'm just like, no. No, no. I mean, it will be original. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. I mean, but that's just to show, you know, how much he needs to get done. I mean, because pulling a rabbit out of a hat is a semi-doable feat. But pulling a hat out of a rabbit, that's a little bit more challenging. And that's kind of the odds that Ash is facing here.
There are kids watching the stream, so we better calm down a little bit. Mortals, though, they're not going to calm down. They're going for the kill. Pabble's going to be confirmed first. Blaze got a nice little off angle onto the side. Could maybe slow down that initial approach from Immortals, but they want nothing to do with this team. Gonna be able to park away. That's the off angle from Blaze. Picks up one. The angle. You must not peek through the window for that long. You're making yourself a very easy target. Get the knock. Get back to safety. Peek again if you get the information. Unfortunately, Blaze did not do that, and that will cost him to get instantly knocked on down, leaving all of the stress on the shoulders of Aiden. What's the play? Do you move away? Do you go for the assistance on your teammate? He jumps out, can't do anything, and that's going to be the one knock coming out. Ah, man, this is a little bit all over the place, but at the end, Immortals will be coming out on top.
Yeah, that was a really crazy play, though. But I saw MFP blew himself up as well. I mean, don't we have a name for that?
What a... Wait.
Manfillers! Pulling a Manfillers right there.
I thought you meant with a car. I didn't see it, so I was like, wait, what? But yes, it is true.
Oh, yeah. And now the fate there for Ultima, all resting on the shoulders of Steph. He's caught out in the blue zone. Fortunately, it's still the early phase blue, so it's not going to be doing too crazy amounts of damage to him just yet. But now, Fainted in 21st Century, having a bit of a tussle over in towards the shelter here. So curious to see what 21st Century is going to try and do. They need to try and bring in those points, and Fainted, they don't look too phased. I mean, they're just going to try and take this engagement. Any additional points they can bring on board will be so fantastic, as they are sitting quite comfortable on 105 points.
Yeah, they're just going to become a mole in this game. They're going to go right underground, avoid the interaction with 21st Century. I'm Fainted. Not going to be for the faint of heart what they're going to decide to do. 21st Century is starting to move out. They know that really holding on to Shelter is not the best play. You're not going to push down Shelter because that would just be a way too risky of a call. So I would recommend 21st Century to think what they want to do. If I were them, I would leave. Not really worth it. Center up on the circle over to the eastern side of the big mountain. It's going to be next to Shelter / also Prison. I think that'll be the best option, as Fainted just like, well, we got another way out. We're just going to cross through the maze down below and exit through another hole. And that works out great. Fainted, just avoid a fight without having to take any risk with very minimal effort. That's a good play from Fainted.
Yeah. Yeah, and up comes another rush now, right on towards the Liquid Diamonds as Zaha, just looks at the team here from Roller Insider rolling in. J Roller getting hit right on down as CE Sports. Eli sends the hit on through. Zeke and Co now crashing up into the building. Well, some pretty crazy plays down on the beaches here, and this could still be a strong performance from Roller. They're also still making that run, trying to ensure an even stronger position on the leaderboard, but now facing the odds coming in here from the Liquid Diamonds.
No.
Liquid Diamonds currently sitting in 10th place, a decent spot to be, but will we see them advance any further from that point?
I'm going to have to say, though, that smoke on the roof, not what you want to do. It just blinds you completely, Zaha. And if someone's pushing up right now, you can hear the footsteps, but that you're going to have to go based off of those footsteps. So, and even if you are below the smoke, you're going to be able to actually get more information than the other player. So Zaha, that smoke maybe not the best, and I think he understood that his predicament is kind of on the negative side. Trying to move away, on his way out. Ro not able to get any damage to connect. And the rest of his team is actually Liquid Diamonds are going to be holding down those entry points. So that's going to allow a lot more breathing space for the teammate of Zaha. Be able to make it away. Circle about to shift. All the water is now taken out of the equation. So that's going to be great for the likes of Fainted, KHK, MZS also. So this is looking good, and I think that here Liquid Diamonds understand this is not a good spot to remain into. We're going to get into the car. We're going to start roaming right here, right now, because there's not a lot of good position to play around. We need to get priority on those spots.
Oh, yeah, definitely going to be quite the risky one to try and get. And I'm curious to see just where those rotations are going to be going. I mean, the players here from CE Sports already getting right out of dodge. They're rotating away from Malta, moving a little bit closer in towards that potential western front. But up ahead, KHK beautifully set up just ahead. 21st Century also right there. Fainted actually now looking to rotate into a slightly different position, and I'm curious to see what this is going to bring, because here they go. Fainted, the players here from the Experts going toe to toe, and we could see another strong performance coming in from the Experts.
Yeah, that could be something that comes around the corner. We'll have to see how things are going to be working out. If they can make it back-to-back to closed off, that means we would have... I love these kind of storylines so much, but that means we would have had G3 Temper that struggled at the start, got himself 3 wins in a day, boom, confirmed in the top 16. Yesterday, Fainted, looking like a team that was struggling a heavy amount in their very first day. Not only yesterday, but today, feel like a completely different team, and yesterday did secure himself 2 wins in the day. And if we could have another comeback story like that for Experts, I think it would be amazing to see that teams do not give up that easily in this region, and it would just be a great story to tell for them in the future if they do make it relatively far in the PMPL after. So, Influence Rage, little bit too spread. Currently got a 3-man split. Inspector holding onto a pretty good ridge line, and with some good use of utility, could be able to buy himself a lot of extra time. But Fainted, I think they spot out the smokes. They want to try and pin them down. And Spider getting himself a nice headshot onto Potato, and that should be a swift kill getting confirmed. INF sending the entire player forward. Spider's going to be solo defending in this current position right now. Not going to be looking too good. They're able to fight him, and the M249 is fantastic weapon to have in these kind of situations. And now Hensley's got no escape. One more bullet and you're done. As he tries to escape behind the wall. Good attempt, but unfortunately will not be enough. Influence Rage Africa lose everything in that one push, and now only Inspector's left alive as he tries to inspect that tree. Tries to get the intel to Danzot, but will be losing that 1-on-1. Man!
Wow.
Experts are looking good right now. This is big. Keep it up, boys.
Yeah, they are absolutely on fire, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were trying to push for another phenomenal performance. I mean, taking down the players there from Influence Rage Africa. Next up, they've got the team there from Fainted up ahead of them. We've been seeing a strong play come in from Fainted as well, and I mean, this is making for such an interesting storyline, as you pointed out.
Yeah, that's it. Interesting storylines. That's what we're here for. We're here to tell stories at the end of the day. We're not like Darman on YouTube just trying to change lives. No, we're just trying to tell stories. That's what we're trying to have fun with. I don't know if you know Darman, actually. Do you know Darman?
I think I've watched some of his stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Then you probably get the reference, but that's fine. We'll see. A lot of fields going to be in play. Also, they got that little bit of a slope up in the more northern side. Most of the teams are potentially going to try and stay catered towards this compound of Milta, which understandably so could be a good idea, but if I were them, I would stick to the more northern or the more eastern side of the compound, play on the edge, because if you're in the middle and you have to cross buildings that are held by teams, that is going to be so hard. So if I were them, the center of Milta, avoid it like the plague. It is not fun, but 21st Century, they're not going to be ridden away from this fight. Kratos maybe should have. He's going to be stuck in this building and he's getting pushed. What good synergy. What good on-point communication from Azexis as they swiftly but surely confirm himself an extra 2 kills. Hawkins did go down, but at the end, he got himself one of the strongest compounds in the northern side. Nothing to be sniffed at.
Yeah, I appreciate the plays coming in there from Azexis. Really, really impressive stuff. But now the rest of 21st Century getting caught alongside CE Sports and Valhalla. Looking to send those grenades straight on through. Ricky also just patiently waiting on the staircase as we can see Pharaoh feeling a little bit of the pressure. Another grenade getting sent on through. Will that be the one to close it out? Valhalla getting caught out in the open. Comes in with a quick reposition. Getting closer right on the opposite end there of Grey. Grey just quickly tempting fate. Going for a quick pickup. But will he now be able to push on through? Here we go, Valhalla just inching his way up. Spots a little bit of a position up ahead. Comes this with the sprays in the window. Oh, will he be able to get it? Pharaoh's so close.
So close yet so far. They're going to have to jump out. Whoa, literally 1 HP right now. Can he pull off the 1 HP clutch? His team is able to join up. They're able to save him potentially. Gray will be able to get himself enough with the Thompson. And he goes straight back into the building. And Valhalla, he doesn't give a damn. He's literally 1 HP. He's chasing you down. He's going to be slowing down just a tad. Get himself that first aid down. He's going to be down to another 1-on-1 potentially. But wow, Valhalla, scared of nothing.
Some big arenas right there.
Albeit, man, the biggest I've ever seen. Jesus. Not scared to go for it. Though Gray still in the wings. On those crates too. It's so hard to pre-fire that kind of spot. You have no information, no smokes, making it really hard to Valhalla. Going for the slow attempt, especially with the rest of CE Spawn not being far. I'm surprised the rest of his team has not joined up yet. This fight has been going on for like, what, a minute? 2 minutes? Where's the rest of the team?
Here they come. Rolling on in. A little bit of a late rotation. Ooh, but Valhalla spots him out though. I mean, this could be that moment to push, but it seems like CE Sports, they're just waiting for that fortification, focusing their attentions elsewhere.
Oh, he shot the middle bar. Now he's going to go for the staircase, but unfortunately already got spotted away earlier by Valhalla, so it was so easy and a very obvious spray for him to connect, and that's going to be it for 21st Century. Not only do they end their game, they also end their adventure here in this African PMCO for the Full Split 2021. Good having them, but unfortunately, their adventure ends prematurely. We'll see them next season, I am sure about it, and we'll see if they can try and improve on those grounds. And now over to the northern side. Immortals still picking a fight versus the Kings of KHK. I jinxed it for them last game when I said they could be doing good, and they called me out for that in the PMCO chat on Discord. So I'm sorry, but we'll see if this time, for real, they can try and actually find salvation in this game.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, that zone shifting up once again, heading further south. I mean, this is going to be a very, very interesting position to play. The Immortals just raining it in with those shots, though. MFP, he's not going to be backing out of these engagements just yet, just trying relentlessly to pick up those shots over on towards Lewis. So who knows? Maybe the Immortals might be able to clutch this one out.
True, it could be the case, and I think that would be a very needed game. Currently standing in 20th place. They got 57 points. They're just shy of the top 16, just a few points away. It's literally at arm's reach. They just need to push it the extra mile, and if they can do so, not only could they be in the top 16, they might have a chance of being safe for the finals of this PMCO. Still the 4-man, already 5 kills. But they need to increase that point counter even further and beyond. Ash still sneaking and closer to Mezexis, but as a one-man and seeing how good the synergy of Mezexis actually was in recent times, that is not a fight you can take easily unless Mezexis leave, which they seem like they want to go out right now, and that could be a golden opportunity for Ash later on down the line.
Yeah, it definitely could be a really fantastic play. And now, as Mezexis are having their 24-point turn happening there, they make their way out just outside the building. This is Ash stepping up, finds the shot onto Pyro. Beautiful play. What a sneak attack that was. But now, Ash, he has this place, this whole compound to use for himself. He's got a vehicle there to utilize to get into zone. Will he be able to utilize that? Though, as the players also from CE Sports run into a bit of a wall there. Fainted just comes in with a beautiful spray to retain their position over here in Malta.
They did get a few points to eSport. Before this game, they were standing in 13th. It was 81 points. This is where you're starting to think, I might be safe, but it's kind of a great area. You're not 100% assured. You have to wait and look at the games tomorrow to see eSport. They're hoping, they're really, really hoping that tomorrow is going to be fine, but is not sure. So definitely do tune in tomorrow, same time, same place, to check out the 4 games of Group B and Group C to see who will be the ones to make it in our finals. Rezo coming out from Fainted. Godzilla and Leonidas still back on their 2 feet, and hopefully they'll get their teammates in a similar situation. ATL Magicians, the final player. Ash could not push it the entire distance. That's going to be them eliminated in 12th. 11 team still running about. The other team that's now going to be struggling is going to be Immortals. They cannot afford to go out right now. Otherwise, it might just be... It's not, it might just be. That is going to be the end of their adventure. They need to survive, and unfortunately, everything is now on the shoulders of Wally OP.
Oh man, but some beautiful sprays coming in there from Ghost as the Immortals try to inch their way back up into zone. 11 teams remain, 28 players still in the fight. Liquid Diamonds looking to hold on to this northern position, but players here from Era Crew are going to look to try and dominate, securing their own play. The zone about to pop, and we'll see where it goes, and it moves in favor of Wally OP.
Okay, that's huge. This is insane plot twist. This circle might be do or die for Immortals. Well, they are mortal, clearly. I mean, 3 players did go down, but we'll see if they can be immortal, at least in the legacy they're going to be leaving behind them after this game. Liquid Diamonds still looking to move away. Non-easy circle. But the thing is for Wally OP, there's going to be so much attention on this current location. If I were him, I would not even try and just fake having a team with you. I would just play it slow, find a bush, hide there, basically try and pull a rise in what we saw in PMGC last year, and it might work out. But really taking a fight head first will not be the way for Wally OP in this kind of circle.
Yeah, he needs to try and rely on the team still having to rotate into the zone to kind of clear it out if they are hoping to have any run at decent points in this final match. Because, I mean, they're so close to finding themselves just barely within that top 16. And now, I mean, Liquid Diamonds rather, getting ready to roll on through. We got the Era Crew also now getting ready to push on in, and this is going to be an absolutely crazy phase. There's so many teams fighting out in the open, and it is going to be a first come, first serve. The shots fighting their way up through. Zero Tolerance just getting absolutely obliterated. MZR gets eliminated. Now, who will be able to hold on?
It's going to be a bloodbath right now. All the big names are taken out like it's absolutely nothing. Relay Insider will be the next to follow down into the abyss of death, as you get sent straight back to the lobby. 22 players currently remaining, as only 8 teams are still in this game. Liquid Diamonds also going to suffer 1 casualty as Venom gets taken down by TV28. Nice spot. Onto Mercury. Hates can't quite get the stretch. As KHK player Lewis sneaking right behind them. Might be able to get himself a few extra kills along the way, but Hades does get picked up. Going to try and maybe get the smoke up onto Hades to actually make that res come to fruition, but Zero Tolerance are still in a world of hurt right now. They are struggling to just stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, a really tough position to be in. Wally, strangely enough, still alive there for the side of the Immortals, as he's getting now absolutely surrounded by teams. But looking at the zone, this is absolute insanity. The players there from Zexus coming in from that western front. The players there from Feint is pushing in from the south alongside. Oh, the experts. The sprays are finding their way in. And this is going to be an absolutely brutal finish.
That was such a close grenade. I really thought it was going to connect onto Darkness, but he will still go down at the end. Things are just slowing down. It's very hard to have a good scope of what's happening. You have literally no buildings, at least a very small amount, just maybe a few shacks here and there. But this is going to be the next tipping point. Phase 7, that is where things get tricky. And it goes once again onto Wally OP. He smoked himself up, meaning that he's definitely bringing some attention his way. But teams are more focused on what's happening on the edge, not on the center as of right now. That might be a fallen race going his way. Fainted, now got spotted out. They need to fight back. That's a one-on-one trade. Lucas will bite the dust. Now from the shack, there is one building remaining. And it's Expert's position to play from. Kaneki doing so much work, but you're not going to be in this next circle. Are you going to stay there to set up your team for success, or are you going to join them in a path of success later on?
I mean, absolutely insane. What is going on here? Liquid Diamonds get eliminated. The Experts getting knocked. And now it's up to Kaneki to try and make that play from our side of the zone. I mean, this is just absolutely on fire.
Protective for all these teams weather the storm. That is what you have to do, because this is not an easy game. This is not an easy circle, and this is not an easy win to take home. Matrix finds Zero from Fainted. Fainted were looking good, but as they were trying to rotate away late from Milta, they just get picked up one by one as they were absolutely nothing. Kaneki peeking a little bit too much, apparently will get punished by Godzilla. Fainted looking good on that end. And he's 17s now. Not many of them are looking stacked in terms of numbers. The only one that's looking really good right now would be Experts, as they have a 3-man crew. The man advantage might be enough, but unfortunately, a circle like this where you have no information of where those sneaky players currently stand, man advantage means close to nothing.
I mean, look at Wally. He's still alive. When he's moved into that position, there was 11 teams. Now 4 teams are being sent back, and here we go. Godzilla trying to bring it in, finds the spray right onto Spider. Now it is up to Banzard and Lucas to try and bring that in. The hits coming their way. KHK get eliminated. 6 teams remain. The shots coming in from the back end as Mazex's Matrix finds a beautiful one. But of course, now up comes Ghost. Once again, Adams.
Exactly as you said, right? Man advantage means nothing. You're just pinched between 2 players. They take the shot, you lose 1, you lose 2. Now you're down to 1 player. And now you're down to none. As Matrix finds it out, Mazexis get their 6th kill in this game. NAS experts pretty much done and dusted. Sent to the lobby once again. I'll see if that's going to be enough to secure their spot later on. Wally OP spotted out. That is not what you want for them. And that's it for Immortal. Still a 14-point game, but I'm not going to lie, DK. I think that is just not going to be the cut for the top 16, at least at the end of tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty stacked lobby either which way we look at those points. But now, I mean, this is the final play. 3 teams remain, 5 players still alive. Skydo is down. He is bleeding out. We do have the players there from Era sitting on a 2-man team. Matrix still holding strong for Mazexes. But will he be able to make enough of a stand? Maffy now also trying to find the angles on towards Zero Tolerance, cooking up the grenade. Will he be able to reach all the way in? Up it comes. Will it be the one? No, doesn't make it all the way through, but a really good attempt. But this is where it is down to that positional play. The first one to find their finger on the trigger and land the shots could be the one in the money.
DK, 22 points. 22 points minimum is what we need to see from Zero Tolerance skills if they want to even just barely make it inside of that position. It's going to be, of course, needing a little bit more, but 22 is the bare minimum. They cannot afford to not get this win. Otherwise, it's pretty much GG. Will not be going into the finals. Spotted out. Zeno gets it. You need to flush that kill. You need those points. Every point makes a difference. Flush it out, please. Doesn't get the information on Murphy. Puts him down to low HP. Gets in confirmed. Thank you very much. That's what we want to see now, up to double-digit kill count. And it will be turned into a 2v1v1. Mazexis, Error Crew, can they ruin the chance of Zero Tolerance skills to make it to the next stage? Mazexis go out into the blue zone. That's an extra kill denied. Ghost is going to be sneaked upon. Peeks around the corner, ends up 1. The car explodes, but he can't do anything from it. And it will be the end as Error Crew get eliminated and Zero Tolerance skills will be securing their very first win this time around. And it will be the last game. That is so close. And I think they got themselves 26 points that game, DK. Yeah. I think they just made it in to the top 16. But we know that when it comes to hitting tomorrow, that is a very big chance of them not being able to stay in that position. Yeah,
I mean, they might have been able to secure potentially maybe a 15th place in that play there. But I mean, absolutely phenomenal performance coming in from Zero Tolerance skills. I just wonder if it was maybe just a little bit too late. But either way, still a really valiant effort there. Amazing plays, 11 kills to come along with that winner chicken dinner. Absolutely phenomenal.
It hurts me so much because they played a really strong game there. I think we can both agree, DK, that was a strong showcase from Zero Tolerance skills, and we want to see more of it. But when you show up and you do your best game on the last game when it's do or die, play like this all the time, boys. If you'd play like this all the time, literally, you would be one of the top teams in the lobby. Top 16 would not even be it would be an afterthought. You would be focusing on top 3, top 5 most of the time. So I'm still very impressed, but we need to see way more coming out from them. Even if they do not make it into the finals this time around, this is a team that now we know has potential, has what it takes to get himself a game here and there. And I'm hoping if we do not see them again, that we will be seeing them the next seasons throughout next year, because I think this is a group of very talented individuals, but they just need a little bit more time, I think, to adapt and just get good at what they do.
Yeah, but that's what's so nice about the group stages. They can see all those different points which they need to try and focus on, look to improve on that. And I mean, that goes across the board for all the teams participating. But what's also quite essential is those VOD reviews. You know, the teams need to look back and see, okay, this is where it went wrong. We should look to improve that, improve this, you know, whatever the situation is, and just come back even stronger, be it next season or just in the next phase.
You know what? We're going to see exactly what we're dealing with going into tomorrow for our Group B and Group C players, because we're going to have a final look at the overall rankings, ladies and gentlemen. This is what is setting up the pace for these teams to reach up to tomorrow, and we'll see how things are going to be going down. First team currently standing is going to be KHK Esports Africa. They did play their final 4 games right now, so they're going to be standing on 136 points, and that is not going to move for any time soon. Actually, our top 5 teams all played 12 games, so that is pretty much what we can expect, DK. But then the contenders, those that could be top 3, that could be even first place at the end of tomorrow, are going to be G3 Temper, Blackjack Esports, Gamers Unite Nation. Those are the 3 teams we're looking at to take away the crown tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely a great opportunity there. And as we can see, I mean, there's not a lot of points separating 6th place from 1st place. So, yeah. I mean, Gun could potentially be in the running once again to win the group stage as they did in last season.
That could be the case. We'll see if that's going to be coming to fruition, of course, hitting tomorrow. You definitely do not want to miss that one, as we're going to be slowly but surely checking out our second page of our overall rankings for our 32 teams to see exactly what's happening from 9th to 16th, and which will be the teams kind of get a little bit too short. I think that's really where things are going to be set in motion. We'll have to see. Taking a little bit of time. We will stand on this first page. We know what, they do deserve the respect, so they deserve a minimum of 5 minutes of airtime, because they made it up there. They're like, we want to be on screen for as long as possible, so that's good to see. But especially, I'm surprised it's fainted. I think that this is the team that I criticized the most on their first stage, EK. Like, there's so many things going wrong. There's no synergy when they're pushing. They're going in one by one. They have not turned a new leaf. They turned an entire new bush. Like, this is a team that has played completely different in the last 2 days. Yep. And I'm hoping to see that actually come to fruition, hitting the finals, and they just don't have some inconsistent results. Now, second page, DK, we've seen the teams that are struggling just a tad, teams that are going to be also playing some more games this time. But unfortunately, so C Esport, Aero Crew, they are looking so uncomfortable. Tomorrow is going to be risky for them.
Yeah, but I got to say, though, I mean, that was a beautiful play coming in from the experts, managing to squeeze all the way back up into 14th position. That is quite a jump they've gone through today. But, you know, then I beg the question is it a little bit too late? Will they be able to remain in the top 16? I mean, as you pointed out, if only they'd done that a little bit sooner, they could have been an absolute. They could have been just holding on to a beautiful spot. And I mean, these are the teams. We know some of these teams, like Team Somalia, Team Unique, Aphelion Apex, as well as Ultima Force. They'll have that opportunity tomorrow then to try and make up those additional points to get into the top 16.
I feel so bad for Immortals and Zero Tolerance Skills. They were so close. This game would have been such a good opportunity for them to come to fruition. I mean, Zero Tolerance Skills even got a win, and even that was not enough. Immortals, just a few points shy of being up there. It could have been possible. We'll see, as we're going to be now looking at our final page, see how things are going on through. These are teams that some of them still have a clear chance. Dragons currently on 50 points. They could make it happen. Same for Seven Sins. Art of Killing could be making it work out. But when you're looking at, for example, Exusia, even then, they can potentially make it happen, but they need a fantastic day 4. Day... Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Day 3.
They need a fantastic day. I mean, day 3 for them, but day 6 in general, that's what I'm going to. And any other teams that are below that are pretty much game over for them. Very unfortunately so, but still, it's great to see fantastic games happening for some of the teams that needed to make it work in their favor. Especially happy was fainted and seeing how they've been able to improve. We'll see how that can result into the finals, but tomorrow, that is where you want to be. You want to be here, same time, same place, because we shall be deciding which are going to be the top 16 teams moving into the finals. Of course, going to be brought to you by myself, DK, and James Banks, who will be joining us on the desk once again. So you better be there, be square, because you do not want to miss that action. With that said, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Oppo Rena 5. Cool down to win.
Oppo Reno 5, PUBG Mobile MENA Esports official designated smartphone.
Oppo Rena 5. Hold it to win.
Oppo Oppo Reno 5, PUBG Mobile MENA Esports official designated smartphone.